Let's go. What's going on? How y'all doing? I think we're live. I believe we're live.
Yep, just got it.
I got some Postal family.
Uh-oh.
What's going on? What's going on? Let's see if this thing catches up. All right. I'm a little tired. Saul Gravy. Miami, what's good? How you doing there, sir?
305.
That's my dogs there. Right now we got Mr. Jesse, we got Mailman Nick, we got Chooch in the house, we got Jersey in the house. How do you share? What are you trying to share? I'm trying to share with me. Let me hold $5. What's going on, Kim? A-Dub, what's going on? Listen, today's gonna be a little bit different because I'm gonna be the instigator. I'm gonna start some shit and I'm gonna fall back because that's kind of what I do. Y'all, you don't have to stick around for the whole video, but keep checking back in because throughout the evening, we're going to have some people just jumping on. It's going to be a lot longer than I'm accustomed to. It really is. Bad Mouth is going to stop by. Karif will probably stop by. We might have Derek stop by. We're going to have a couple people stopping in. That's kind of the thing. We're going to let Mr. Chooch kind of narrate this thing and make things happen, but you know what I'm gonna do is oh my goodness, good. My other Postal family. There it is. I'm staying the whole video. Okay, Matt, it's a long one. I might not stay. Shit. I got a life. But
The first sign of a
we're gonna get
carrier,
right
no
into
life.
it. We're gonna get right into it. This is hopefully the beginning of a few different types of roundtables. And roundtable is just get a bunch of carriers together and let them speak their piece. And my thing is to get them to talk about things that they typically don't talk about. And I'm gonna be reading the comments to see how y'all feel about it. Because again, I'm not a carrier. Something that I just could never do. I'm just not good enough. I don't know. I've been told many times. But no, it said, oh, God is good. Our goddess good. Oh, okay. All right. I see it now. God is good.
I should retract.
All the time. All
Just
the
so y'all know,
time.
what's going on? MVO, Manhattan VMF. Oh, you down there, Morgan? Crump? You down there, Morgan? I think we snatched your old logistics manager. Yeah, I got your old logistics manager at my place. If you down in Morgan, then yeah, we snatched up your old logistics manager. Look, this one is not, we don't do scripts here. We're not gonna be polished, so I don't expect anybody to be polished. We're not doing the corporate filter.
I'm just crumbling my script paper. Hold on.
There it is. So Crumplestiltskin.
I love that name, Crumplestiltskin.
I like that. Hey, so do me a favor, man. If you get a chance, Crumple, email me because I have Cruz. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. Your logistics manager there, with me. Branch 1690 West Palm in the house. Okay, West Palm. You don't know that one? Left not too long ago. Ran the show, maybe within the last 2-3 months. Nonetheless, I'm not a fan of your branch there, Mike Riley. I don't really like your manager.
Oh, shout out to Mike.
Your president. I'm not a fan. Yeah. Nonetheless, again, let's get into it. It's not staged either. It really not. These carriers going to talk about some real experiences. Oh, you know who Mrs. Cruz is. This is not a stage panel. There's no pre-approval here. I don't want you guys to sit there and worry about any backlash either, gentlemen. These are working carriers.
I'm
out
used
there
to it.
grinding.
I don't know the meaning of backlash.
There's a lot of voices in here that'll be stopping by. Majority of them are table 2 carriers, so there'll be a lot of people that identify with them.
Broke.
It will be moderated by Mr. Chooch.
Yes,
And
sir.
I'm gonna hope that he keeps the flow glowing.
Oh, I'll try.
Now, I'm gonna just get right in because I'm gonna make them feel uncomfortable. I heard a phrase today. I was talking to my son right before I got on here, and he said, "Jay, you need to and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So he told me something about, and you guys will probably know, and I'm gonna just throw these things out there and see if you can figure it out. He said something about manage your mail. I don't know what that means. He said, just ask them. They'll know. Manage your mail,
Uh-oh.
killing packages, stopping clocks. He was complaining about clock ring, internal timing adjustments.
Look at the smirks on all three of our faces as you're saying this.
Oh shit! I didn't even. I'm trying to look
Nick,
at my little handwritten notes because we don't use the GPTs like everybody. I use the notepad. Don't judge me with that. The notepad.
Yeah. Couple old school scribblers here.
But I'm not here to define them. That's the notepad you sent me, Chooch.
This is a notepad, I say.
Was it a buck slip? I don't know. I'm not here to define them.
Buck
I
slip.
want to know what they mean in real life for each of you. If some people actually do the work, and there's no judgment, no spin, there's no cleaning it up. So I'm gonna throw these questions out, and y'all can answer them in whatever order you want. You know, when you hear the words, apparently y'all heard manage your mail. What does it actually mean, and what does that look like where you work? And has there, number two would be, has there ever been a situation where your mail or your packages felt like they were being slowed down or held for operational purposes?
I think Nick wants a bite at this one.
I don't know. Stop the clock. I know that they
Nick,
did that shit to my daughter.
Jesse's on deck. Nick first, and then I'll clean up.
They did that to my daughter with the stopping the clock, get back and punch out and work for I don't know, clock rings and making sure everybody clocked out.
I never heard of these terms.
What are these terms? Yo, what kind of shit is going on?
There's new carriers that are here right now. and you know, y'all have been in the mix for half a second. So how would you advise, you know, what is the reality of what they are walking into compared to when you guys have started? Now, don't rush because Chooch is gonna narrate this. Nobody getting cut off. And if you guys say something to say it in your words. You know, Chooch, I'm gonna pass it to you, man. Pass it to you. Let you do what you do and hey, understand this, gentlemen. If anybody says, hey, I saw you on JH's video last night, that was AI.
AI. This is all AI.
Yeah.
AI. It wasn't me. It was AI.
I said AI is gelling my hair perfectly and getting all the shave just right. Yeah, they do a good job. So, all right, manage your mail. Here we go. Chooch here. How we doing, everybody? Good to see you. All right, Aaron in the chat just said, I'm managing my mail right now. Aaron, of course, would be the first one to jump in and say that. And he means that in the most sarcastic but serious way. So, manage your mail. I guess I was going to pass it to Nick, but I'll start off in the ideals of, you know, being here for 20 years and clearly knowing that term, along with all the other things Jay was saying that he's kind of unfamiliar with in this carrier world, you know, we familiarize him with as much as we can every day and fill his head up with all this shit. And he just says, I don't even want to remember any of this stuff because it sounds so awful. But in reality, you know, we all know what we're doing. We all know how to move mail. The carrier's job is to move the mail. Management's job is to manage the mail. So management, of course, tells you, the carrier, that you are to manage the mail. And manage the mail means do what is necessary to make sure you stay within X amount of time frame, that you are not running into overtime that you were not approved for, that you are not going into any penalty time that you were not approved for, that you make sure you get back for the dispatch truck by this time by doing these necessary things, like maybe scanning your parcels and, possibly doing what's called tracing your route, where you need to grab mail from all the mailboxes that you haven't gotten to yet. And essentially, if you see a flag up, grab that mail and get it back. Now, tracing is a kind of an old thing anymore because now we don't seem to care about time on when outgoing mail gets picked up more than we need to get the mail that we took out each day delivered in some way, shape, or form. Now, if I tell Nick to give his version of what I just said, go ahead.
I got a question.
Go
I got
ahead,
a question.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm not a carrier. To me, that sounds like if you have to get back in time, what happens to the mail that you were supposed to deliver that day?
Everybody's going to have a different version of this, Jay. I'm going to tell you that no mail in my particular neck of the woods ever comes back. Everything goes every day. That is me coming from the mom and pop shop kind of post office that still, thankfully, is around. Nick, I believe, is a larger office. I believe Jesse's in a larger office than I am. I think we'll get through that. But I'm going to pass over to Nick to say that in my world, I have never returned back with any mail or packages on a given day where I was told to manage my mail because everything goes in my station. Now, Nick, go ahead.
Is that a secret term for that?
No, it's a very clear term that carriers are told. It's a matter of where you are, what kind of management you deal with, how important numbers are to that managerial team, and basically how much of a carrier you draw yourself in to be day in and day out, and how much dictatorship you accept from your management. So, yeah. That's going to be a different tale. If we had 7 other people on here, they'd have 7 different versions of this. But Nick, over to you. What is managing mail?
So
your version.
Like you were saying, it depends on the office. Like in my office, listening to and following instructions is the most important thing to avoid trouble. And even then, you still probably will get in trouble because management wants you to be perfect. If you have to be back by a certain time, they're going to say, do what you got to do to be back by this time, to meet their quota, to meet their, if they don't want you working past 8 o'clock, you got to do what you got to do, unfortunately, to avoid discipline. And even then, you'll be pulled in the office. Hey, why did you not stay out until, or why isn't the mail finished? And, it sucks because it feels like you failed.
Clear this up for the dummy here. So they tell you to be back by a certain time. Do what you got to do.
Yes. So
even if you still have mail that hasn't been delivered and you still have to be back by that time, you bring the mail back. I mean, it's a common thing. I've seen a lot of carriers when I used to pick up from stations bring mail back just to catch the truck. Is that kind of what they're doing?
Yeah. So if they say, for example, be back by 8 o'clock, and what management will do is they'll try to cram as much work in that time frame as possible, and then say be back by 8, and that might not be realistic because computers are not reality. Their expectations or the expectation on the computer are different than what's on the street. So if I have to double case and I got 4 hours extra, then all of a sudden, I'm looking at 9 o'clock. They want me back by 8. What do I got to do? If I have a third bundle, you got to manage your mail. You got to make sure you get back on time, just make sure all packages are scanned. And the packages is a big thing. They make sure packages, we try not to bring back packages. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
But, manage your mail basically means, be back by the time we want you so we can get our bonus, basically.
It's sort of a derogatory term. Jesse is going to confirm that it's a more of a derogatory term, but essentially the carrier is the final say, more or less. But you put the ball in management's court to say, if you want me to do something that I know I'm not supposed to be doing, you got to give the order. So manage your mail might mean something that the carrier does not agree with and should not be done accordingly, but we have to follow the order
that's why you put it
discipline.
on the scanner. That's why you put it on the scanner. You say, I'm going to be back at this time. And then they'll put their instructions on the scanner. So if you come back, it's on them, not you.
Perfect example there. Perfect example. Jay, he uses rims through his messages on his scanner. I never use rims. 2 different worlds right there. We call on our phones. See? And Jesse, give your version now, please. Get in here.
Jesse don't got no extra mail. They got a light station.
Yeah, my office has no mail.
You say, obviously you played in the management's game. There's no mail.
Dude, it's an open secret that upper management district, they do janky things with the mail and the packages.
That's a good word.
In my office, I'll just say it. We have supervisors casing while we're out,
Ouch.
right?
Oof.
Because
Stealing overtime.
there's a route that's overburdened with mail. There's literally a stack of mail half my height. All right. So they're like, how are we gonna do this? We got audits coming in. All right. They get a supervisor, they case. Or they have somebody that's on workers' comp, right? That's kind of scamming workers' comp. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. They case it and they do a horrible job at casing it.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah, because they don't know the route.
So it's an open secret that management does really janky things with the mail.
So you need to turn your mic
Mail,
up a
but
little
with
bit. Maybe
packages.
it's because my old earbuds, not even earbuds, my hearing aids aren't working. I don't think I can hear you well. Turn that up a little bit there, Jess.
You're coming through, Jess. Maybe you could just use this as a little boost, maybe.
A little boost.
A little boost.
Little boost, little
Yeah,
boost.
I hear you good with these big ass earphones, but yeah, the old guy there, he's having trouble.
Should I use mine?
All right.
I got some earphones.
We knew you had at least 6 pairs of headphones in there.
I don't know how to use these though. I don't. I gotta plug all this shit in. Go ahead.
The little wire. Yeah.
I'm using
ahead.
the same headphones I use in the gym, so I don't know.
Hey, Jess. So we know where you are. You obviously told us where you are, and we got a couple people in here right now, like my man Miami-Dade Transparency. If you don't know, you better find out who that is. That man is putting out amazing things that you thought you'd never see in your postal career about some shit going on in a very nearby area to where you're at there, Jess. And it's it's unbelievable and unfathomable what goes on in comparison to, like, Nick and I could tell you some stories about some shit, but you guys got a franchise going on down there.
Miami is a shit show right now.
Absolutely.
I'm sure.
It is a shit
Big
show.
cities and
Yeah.
So do you run into that situation though? I mean, at your station there, Jesse? Do you run into it where maybe not you, but do they bring mail back? Are they forced to bring mail back?
Oh yeah, they bring mail back. Mostly new people because they're not used to the volume. They stick these new people in our offices and they're like shocked by the volume that we have. And by the time it's 8 o'clock, the supervisor says, "Hey, whatever you got in your truck, bring it back." They scan the packages, no access, etc. Yeah, just to cut down on hours instead of
What do you mean no access? Is that a lie?
No access, basically, yeah, it's a lie. It basically means I didn't feel like delivering your package. I didn't have access to your house or your apartment, blah blah blah.
That's the magic
and
scan.
They stopped the clock on it, right?
Stop the clock.
And
that's what he's talking about, stopping the clock. Okay.
And lie to the customer instead of supervisors and management having the stomach to tell the customer the truth of what happened to the package. It will be delivered the next day, ma'am or sir. We just had trouble delivering it that day. They don't want to take that heat.
There you go.
You know?
Perfect explanation of no access. Yeah.
Oof.
So
if they don't deliver the package, I guess they call it a failure on the manager side, but they don't want to don't want to stare.
They call it a failure on us.
Yeah.
If you have no access, is considered a failure on you?
Yes, sir. I mean, when we have meetings all the time. Hey guys, we had 20 failures yesterday. That's on y'all. They blame it on all the carriers in the building. They don't actually go into detail of each package on why it wasn't delivered. It might have been a dog. It might have been no access because the CCA got back late or whatever the case may be. They don't actually explain. They just blame it all on the carriers, which is unfair.
Yeah, I mean, if you take that, at face value to say that in the situation where someone who was not thoroughly trained and just sent out, I mean, carriers get sent out with mail kind of in the blind sometimes. Sometimes you might get a little look on a map. Sometimes you have a route map at a case, or other times, it's just like, drive to the right and follow the mail, and it's like, good luck. That is very intimidating, you know, for people to go out and do in any situation. And the crazier the town, the busier the streets, whatever it may be. It could just be a nice, quiet suburb, you know, or it could be a very, you know, very intense area. Nixon, an intense area. What I know, Jesse, you're probably in a very lively area. But
Yeah.
the problem always, you know, it becomes the carriers. And you're sitting there saying, well, you know, you guys are supposed to manage the mail. We are supposed to move the mail, as we said.
Negative.
Yeah.
Negative.
So it's
I don't believe in that manage the mail to the carrier thing at all. The managers are in there 2 to 3 hours before we even hit the clock. They measure it. They go around the office and they measure our mail with freaking ruling sticks or whatever.
a
Measuring tape.
yardstick.
So you're gonna tell me you show up to the post office at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and you want to tell a carrier that showed up at 9 o'clock after he had his ass worked into the ground the previous day, hey man, manage your mail. What?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on here? What do
And
y'all
I
get
don't know
paid? What do y'all
and
get
I don't
paid
know about
for?
your guys' office, but we have to go back for packages. There's misthrows.
Oh, Jesus
Packages
Christ.
aren't up on time. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, don't
It's
even get me started on the clerks misthrowing of packages that we're responsible for fixing every morning since I've been working there. I mean that's ridiculous. I feel like there should be a cage and the clerk should have to fix that and either somebody bring it out to us or whatever the case may be. But carriers shouldn't be responsible for a clerk's misthrows. It's always the case of the carrier can do the clerk's job, but the clerk can't do the carrier's job.
right.
So if I got to do the clerk's job and I misthrowed, I should get paid for that, right?
I heard that a lot of carriers do clerk work at your station anyway.
Oh yes, sir. They spread mail.
I can imagine
I
how much
mean,
craft crossing goes on there.
yeah, there's a lot of there's carriers that are in the hot case in the morning, casing the mail because no clerk showed up.
Wow.
So
In my opinion,
Go
my
ahead.
opinion, if you got a case mail in the hot case and case your route and go out and deliver mail in the hot ass Florida sun, that should be $50 an hour all day because you're doing 2 or 3 people's jobs in one day.
Boom.
Right.
Shit.
When I was a
What-
CCA,
Good.
when I
what
was
is-
a
what is-
CCA, I was being a rural carrier. I was being a clerk throwing packages. Crazy.
What is stopping the clock on scans mean? Like I guess packages that were
Okay.
supposed to be delivered and they used
Well-
to send him back out to go drive somewhere and stop the clock. I don't even know.
Okay.
he wasn't
So
in
you
the
have.
room, but
I'll take
what
you
does that
through
mean?
it. I'll take you through it.
Does that happen?
You have what's called the geofence. The geofence exists in the inside the area of the station. Going outside of the geofence and scanning, say, a business that was closed that day, but you forgot to scan it out by the business and you can't scan that back in the station. So they may say. So you have to go back outside of the geofence. You don't necessarily have to go all the way back to the location at this point. You more or less have to get out of the geofence. So say 2-3 blocks down from the station, it clears you of the satellite geofence thing, and then you could say, okay, business closed. Now it's cool because I scanned it out of the geofence. It's so childish and stupid when you think about it to say that, okay, a carrier is trying to remember a ton of shit all day. You have the scanner as an assistant to kind of remember, but the scanner is if you've ever seen any device flawed in this world, the USPS postal scanner is a flawed device, ranging from telling you that you're right standing at a front door of a house and you scan something that says you are 300 yards. Are you sure you want to scan this front door? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking sure because I'm standing at the front door. You know, so you have so much tech being plugged in the morning by, the yardstick is the only non-tech being used still. Thanks for the yardstick reference there, Jess. For years I've been watching the yardstick go around the room and measure mail. But everything else is a computer printout, AI generated, nonsensical, far from reality, unadjusted office because it hasn't been inspected in years, mound of bullshit that we have to, be approached every day and say, okay, carriers, we got 7.5 hours here, so 30 minutes downtime. You could do this and something else and be back in 8 hours. And I'm like, well, that's what your computer says, but that's not the reality of my world. Now, a carrier has to obviously deal with these things over a course of time, and you will get naturally better at naming your day. You are the carrier who interprets their day. Management, of course, wants to get in anybody's head and say, no. This says you're supposed to be done in this time. And I said, well, I appreciate that generous printout, but we do what we do in the time that we need to do it in. We have to deal with, like Jesse said, we're sweating our asses off out there. The human body can only take so much. I ain't in my 20s anymore. I ain't in my 30s anymore. So
I'm just trying to put 2 and 5 together to make 3. It sounds like to me, again, a non-carrier. The carrier, he's over there in the kitchen now. But he's right there. It sounds like fucking fraud. It sounds like they're covering their ass and they're putting it on you guys. And then if you don't do it, y'all get written up. If they can get away with it's like do as I say, not as I do.
Mhm.
It seems so corrupt.
It's a good way of putting it.
And nobody looks to expose it. It makes no sense to me because y'all got badgered 99% of the time.
Yeah.
And what's really y'all being real friendly with this shit because they can't tell me, Jay, hey, go load that trailer. Oh shit, we still got some stuff in the back in the processing. It's not out yet. We need you to depart at 6:40 p.m. But wait for the rest of the stuff to come out and then depart. I'm not doing that because the moment I depart,
that's the TTO in him. You know, there's a creed.
I don't play that shit. The moment I scan out, they expect me to be moving within 5-10 minutes. And if I get hurt inside that building, I falsified a scan, which is a federal form. They print that up. Well, it says you left at 6:40. How did you get injured at 6:52? Well, we got a big problem here. No, I don't play that shit. I don't. I said, if you want me to stay, you or the plant is going to take the hit. That's it. You got to adjust the time but I'm not going to do that. That's me because I'm not going to lie for you because at the end of the day, if I get written up, if something happened, I get injured, OWCP start going into everything. What kind of shoes were you wearing? What kind of underwear did you fart when you walked down the dock? No, I'm not playing that shit. But that's just me. Again, I don't know how it works for you guys. To me, it sounds like fraud.
It takes a village. You know what I mean?
It is.
You are a cerebral, very deep thinking individual. Not to say that every human being has their weak points and their strong points. This mind game, this carrier world is to say that you want to do service as a carrier. You want to get all that mail out. You do not want to things falling behind. You want the public's perceptions to be good. Everything we're doing and everything that I say the majority of carriers are doing, from old to young to middle, are out there pushing every day to get everything done and not run into any conflict with anybody and create conflict. Management is the conflict, and they always have been the conflict. Carriers who stand on their laurels, like Jay saying he ain't moving that tree, he ain't taking that load if it ain't ready to go and you didn't push it outside properly like you're supposed to. Carriers will, they'll kind of give back essentially, that ruling power that they have and that the union has if you know how to navigate the union properly. I know a million people are going to say, Chooch, the union sucks, and I said, I understand that. Where I'm at, we get it done. We get the mail moved. We don't deal with a lot of BS back and forths. We stand on our laurels to get all the mail moved. But again, I'm in a mom and pop shop. These larger operations, these SNDCs, they're a fucking nightmare. And the post office knows it. Steiner should know it. And everybody that is in one right now.
Time Magazine should know it.
Sports Illustrated should know.
Yeah.
So,
exactly. What about you, Nick? I know I'm not trying to get Nick in trouble, but Chicago got a lot of fuck ups up there.
Yeah. Nick, I know. Don't be scared, Nick.
That's just the supervisors.
Yeah, stop sugarcoating it. We got people from my plant that going up to Chicago, your plants over there to try to help them out. They got a lot of shit going on. And if the plant's fucking up, how's your station doing?
Oh, the plant
That's the
messes
fake
up all
Nick.
the
That's
time.
not even Nick. That's his twin.
Yeah, this is an AI twin right here. So, but no, the plant we get a lot of mess ups from the plant. Like we'll have our DPS come late. I'll go 2 relays and then they'll say, "Hey, DPS showed up, come back," and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then
We don't
or
deal
we'll
with
have
that.
jackpots. We call them jackpots where
The old jackpot.
like it's a bunch of just random DPS from different routes. It's maybe like a tray of mail, and we're sorting through that. They're stacked on top of each other, and I'm like, is this our undertime right here?
If Mike comes in, he'll talk about jackpot and mail because he's Mike's Chicago and Mike knows, and all the Chicago carriers that we speak to know about jackpotted, screwed up mail coming in. You know, like I said, the larger the operation, the more shitty the mail moves and is organized, disorganized.
He's Mike
So you
Puerto Rico now.
Yeah.
you don't have that issue at your station with the lying, forcing you to lie?
Oh yeah, lying all
That's
the
a
time.
yes or no. You ain't got to
Yeah.
say the details.
Yeah,
Have you ever had to
yes.
lie?
Yes, unfortunately. You know, I mean, you got to
Okay.
just
How about
listen.
you, Jess? You ever had to lie?
Oh, absolutely. I lied today. All right. My lie. My office should be called the
Oh
lying
man.
office. I mean, it's like you said, it's fraud. If if Nick Shirley walked into my office on a random Tuesday, his video would get 2 million views of all the fraud that goes on at the post office. It's an open secret. Even customers know. Customers know how much fraud goes on at the post office. Oh,
That's
why haven't I been getting mail for 2 days? My it's an 88-year-old woman and her mailbox is at the door. I wonder why. Because a carrier vacated the route. There's a CCA on it. They're bringing mail back. They're not going to the dismounted houses in management, right? These are things that we have to deal with because either a T6 or a regular has to go on that route and clean up that shit. You know? This is open fraud, guys. Not only with mail and packages, stopping the clock and doing janky shit with the mail, managers are fucking with your clock rings. I don't know. You guys pay attention to your clock rings.
Yeah, every day.
They are clocking you out.
That's a lie. That's a lie. I've never heard no shit like that. Tell me more.
There are other metropolitan states where I know that unfortunately is occurring. One that involves like an apple or something like that. There's some shit going on, like, you know, and these stories unfortunately, you know, have to cross. I was nice in my nice little quiet corner in the suburbs, and then suddenly I meet all these guys, and I'm like, wow, like my eyes are open so wide at some of the shit that goes down. And yeah, you know, we don't have any to hear these things day in and day out because we see them, we live them, and we are just the bastions of trying to keep everything moving and clean. But I just I can't accept the idea of you know, a manager, you know, choosing to just do this dirty work and just to go put their head down at night and go to bed, like, and I'm like, you got to be a vampire or something and just be up at night, because how could you sleep doing what you do every day with that kind of, like, you know, just anti-integrity thing? Like, you
Yeah,
know,
man.
they use the word integrity in this place. Integrity scan. I'm like, fuck you, integrity. I said, is it, you know, take a good hard look at the word integrity in the dictionary. You ain't, and USPS management is the anti-integrity.
So what? Well, I done lost the damn message. Crumple Stillskin. He said that they took the tax access away from supervision. Anybody that's watching this new taxes, the timekeeping thing,
Yep.
where they can go in and adjust your time. Now, I don't know if the supervisors at your station still have it, and I know that the clerks
Lead
want a
clerk has to do it.
grievance.
Yep.
They're supposed to go in there and actually adjust, you know, the times. If any of your supervisors go in there,
It'll say
clerks can file a grievance. Now, they took access away from a lot of the supervisors
Yep.
in the plants. I don't know how it is at the stations.
Same thing at the
But-
stations, Jay. Same thing at my little station. And, I got to put something positive out there, to say that all the things that Jesse said he's dealing with in his down there in his neck of the woods, the time clock, messing with time clock, messing with tax. I don't see any of that. I'm fully on top of it. I pay attention to everything. I got a virtual time card, basically like a memo on my phone ready to go. So I keep an eye on everything. I'm very much watching every piece of paper that comes across, and my management for certain flaws and certain character aspects that I wish were a little bit different. We don't play those games. They don't play the games because they know we're watching. We're watching close. So you can try it, but you're gonna get caught. You're always gonna get caught.
That happens in our office,
You
Cheech.
you don't fuck with a man's money.
Exactly. We have it in our
No.
station where we have a no lunch policy. And if we don't, let's say right now they don't want us in penalty. If we clock out after 6 o'clock, they're going to take my no lunch away
Yep.
and say I took a lunch and then take my money.
Mhm.
And then it'll say which supervisor or our clerk, I don't want to say her name, but that changed it. And then if that person changed it, then I'll usually get my union rep, hey, they took my lunch out. So
That's my paisan Nikki No Lunch over here. Nikki No
Yeah.
Lunch.
30
And
minutes-
that's
Is that a
another
thing?
man.
Not in my station. Can't do it. Once you hit 6 hours, that 30 minutes is coming off no matter what. You didn't take your
And that-
lunch, yep, you don't get paid for it.
And that's another thing. Taking 30 minutes out for a carrier to eat is diabolical.
I hear you on that one. Yep.
Diabolical. We're physically working outside. You have to eat and drink water or you're going to die.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Had carriers pass out. I helped the carrier when I was a CCA.
Excuse me.
He was laid out in somebody's front yard, passed out on a walking route.
Oh, gee.
We had to call EMTs.
I remember you talking about this. Yeah.
That's crazy. I feel like carriers, you should get an automatic 30 minutes built in to your 8 hours.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just cruel. Taking 30 minutes out because you have to eat. And
Yep.
most carriers don't even use the whole 30 minutes.
And you know
to be honest.
I set a timer every day for 29 minutes so I can get to my spot, get out of the truck, and then get back in the truck with that last minute. Walking from I usually hit the same place every day, and I'm never giving that time back ever again. That's
And,
just.
and then they tell you the clock starts once you stop delivering mail. What the fuck? You're basically scarfing down food like you're in basic training. Like, give me some time to chill and eat.
Yeah, and the clerks, the clerks have to hit out to lunch, and they have to hit at the exact 30-minute mark. If they go 31 or 29, they get in trouble for it, which is hysterical to me to say that they're right there in the building. They're right there in the building, right next to management, and like we're out there on the street, like you said, we're passing out on the front, and they're worried about, what are you 31 minutes? I'm like, seriously?
Listen, man, all them clerks do is eat all day. All right, they get more than 30 damn minutes a day. I'll tell you that right now.
That vending machine is popular.
Hustling, trying to deliver the mail. Oh, you only get 30 minutes? Get fucked. We should get an hour.
An hour would be nice.
That'd be great.
Yep.
Out there walking 30 miles with a damn satchel on, like we were rucking, and we only get 30 minutes to eat. Oh man.
My son back there laughing in the background. I think he identifies.
Yep.
I could do stand-up comedy with all the material I got, man. This is crazy.
Don't be picking on the clerks. We got some clerks in the comments.
Oh, I said, I love my clerks. Like I said, there's some old school, there's some new school. I love my clerks. There is plenty of time for them to kick back and have a snack and have a second snack and a third poop.
Yeah, they be out there in their cars smoking weed too.
Oh God Almighty!
Oh,
man,
say it.
Y'all
Y'all
don't want to hear that.
Say
I
it.
know what y'all be doing. Okay, we did a drug test right now on all postal federal workers. Half of the post office be gone. overnight.
Yeah, that's why they don't drug test.
That's
We
why they
wouldn't have a
don't.
workforce.
We wouldn't have a work. It'd be a lonely police.
Hey, look, I'm in the Army Reserve. I got to get a drug test every year. Most federal agencies, they have to get a drug
Is
test
that
every year.
No kidding. I didn't. That's
Yes.
a fun fact right there. How about that? I'm too
Ooh.
old for that shit. I got the
Fran-
I got the
Franny-
munchies. I got the munchies
Franny
with or
Mama
without
said
weed.
enough with the clerk
Right,
slander. She
Enough.
said enough with the clerk
Yeah,
slander.
yeah, no. Sorry, hey Franny. Hey, you sound like just that name alone. I love. Hey Franny, how you doing? That's we're good. We're gonna rip management. We're not gonna leave the clerks alone. We're gonna stick with what we know best.
So
Fickle us
Fickle.
carriers.
So the clerks get a hour break and
Ain't
y'all
that a
only
bitch?
get 30 minutes, or is it that they get 30 minutes and two 15-minute breaks?
30 and 2 15s, I believe.
So y'all can't stop for a straight hour?
No.
No.
I mean, we
We'll
get
be
in
out there
trouble
till 10
for it,
o'clock at night.
stationary time.
Chris
stationary
Cash.
time,
Chris Cash. Restroom breaks are separate from lunches and tens. Management has a hemorrhage when you know it. That's right, Cash.
Oh.
Always like Chris Cash's comments.
Why is it that carriers get pivots but no other craft? I don't even know what a pivot is.
Well, there really can't be a pivot for anybody else except the carrier, because a pivot is when you're given something besides your route on the street and then being told to get done everything within an 8-hour period, essentially, is a pivot. Now, extra, as we call it, is to say management approved you for overtime for something else other than your route. I have extra today, or I have a pivot today. Pivot means they want you to do yours and the extra assignment and get back in the 8-hour time frame.
So when a carrier calls out and the route is completely open, there's nobody else to do it. They break the route down into 4 or 5 pieces. They call them pivots. Everybody gets a pivot. I get a pivot. I'm on the ODL. He gets a pivot. She gets a pivot. Everybody gets a pivot, but clerks. The pivots that carriers do are usually clerks' job, throwing packages, doing the hot case.
Yeah.
We don't put paperwork in on that. Management just says, "Hey, go do that." What the fuck? There's no pivot when it comes to clerks. When it comes to us doing their job. Now I'm not trying to go off on clerks. Listen, man, the post office is very disorganized. Very disorganized. Okay.
So I hear the pivots, I hear the scan outside, the geo fence, don't climb the fence or you get drug tested. I got a lot coming on here. I'm mixing it purposely. But again, when I put my stuff on mute, my son whispering in my ear. Have y'all ever been told to do something directly or indirectly? I don't know what camera I'm looking at, that made you feel like you were being pushed to do something that you know wasn't right and you did it anyway just to avoid problems?
No. Not in my 20 years. I honestly can say, and this has to do with the size of the state thing. This has to do with management that might have been carriers at one point and, brought me up through my younger years and had a line of respect because they knew what carrying was. You don't have a lot of that these days. And if you do, they kind of forgot what carrying was all about, and they were, brainwashed into the management. You can do as much as I tell you to do in this amount of time, and you have to just deal with it. So yeah, I've never been coerced to have to do anything, but obviously that's my story. These guys might have something different. Spit it out, fuckers. Let's go.
I mean, nothing too crazy, but if they say, "Hey, be sent back out," if it's like we had a tornado one time where the tornado sign was going off, and they're like, "If you,"
it's just a tornado, it's a little wind,
I remember one old lady, she's like, "Come in here, come in here." I'm like, "I gotta do this relay."
That's ridiculous.
Don't act like you ain't delivering no hurricane.
I've delivered in hurricanes, lightning. You can name it.
Oh yeah, no. I said, if you got patrons that know your face after so many years, and you see that
Yeah.
sky blacking up, and like you say, like, oh shit, somebody might pop out, like the nice little old lady many years ago when the sky was like literally like looking like we were about to go into
Armageddon.
going into Armageddon, and she said, "Oh, Matt, get out of there, go to come inside for a minute. Oh, you're gonna get killed out there." And I said, "No, Mrs. Johnson, I got to get the mail delivered. You know, come on." And I'm like,
Oh, good God.
and I said, and then I go back 2 minutes later. I'm like, yeah, I'll come in for a minute. It looks pretty freaking bad out there. Yeah. That was before all the low jacking began, essentially. You know. Now we're low jacked, and it's like, what are you doing standing still? I said, well, I was worried about a tornado sweeping me away, so I kind of got under this tunnel for a minute to make sure that I hid under an overpass because I didn't want to get sucked into it, you knucklehead.
Yeah, crazy
I'll
stuff.
tell you. So the stories just fly out. I got bad mouth. He's stuck in a meeting. He's trying to get done his meeting. Hopefully, we can see something from him. And then
Any one of y'all ever seen something? I'm listening to what he's saying. People smoking in the parking lot.
no, for God's sake.
Any one of y'all ever seen something you knew wasn't right, but choose not to say nothing
Yes.
just because you ain't want the
Oh, yeah.
spotlight on you?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not your
Oh, yeah.
business.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Not my
mind your
business.
Yeah. You walk the line between saying, I love these people that work beside me in most cases, but there might be a problem here, and if management is aware of it, which most of the time they are, because we all are in this tight little room in this tight little bunch. So you have 5 senses: you have a hear, you have a smell, you have a you have vision, and those things can pick up on things, And if you turn a blind eye to it, and you're in charge of an operation, and some shit goes down. And that management is constantly might be trying to say, that's not my problem. That's that person's problem. Like, no, that is your problem to address.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
again, as a carrier, you want to stay in your lane. You want everybody to be on the same page. But human beings and human frailty outside of the world of carrying will, could ultimately bring itself into those walls and on that street. So I have words with people, on my own time to make sure that everybody is in line the best that they can be and that they're taking care of themselves. I believe in personal health. I believe in not putting anything hurtful into your body during work hours, and after work hours. I understand everybody, this is a stressful job and you like to go knock a few back, but you got to come to work.
Ain't nothing wrong with a few beers.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Ain't
Nice.
nothing wrong. Like Stone Cold said, man, ain't nothing wrong with a few beers. Man.
I'm crushing grapes in my basement right now, making Italian wine over here. You said,
oh, Mike, gotta send me some.
Aaron, that's shout out to Aaron. Aaron couldn't believe that Italians go in their basement and stomp grapes to make wine. He's like, ew, you put your feet in the wine? I said, it's delicious. You don't know what the hell. You don't know what he's talking about. He's still learning. So
some carriers operate better. Like if you smell a carrier smelling like skunk, I'm like, they're locked in. They're ready to go. So
a carrier smells like skunk and he is locked in for the day.
I mind my business.
Well, the danger of this is they're going on the road in a federal vehicle and driving around people's neighborhoods.
Outstanding. Well said.
Okay, so I mean, if management is turning a blind eye to that, what the hell?
That's
like Jay asked us. Yeah, carriers, we see a lot.
Yes,
we see a lot, especially if you're in a big office. I've seen so many things I wouldn't repeat here, but these people should have been fired a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay. At one point, you got to ask yourself. I mean, we talk about management a lot, but at one point, do we have to go? Are we any better than them? Are we any better than management? When you have carriers showing up high, when you have clerks showing up to work high, when you have carriers clocking in at 10 o'clock and just walking in like nothing happened, and we got to pick up the slack for them, when you have carriers getting drunk and passing out on their route.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, these are stories just from my office.
Yeah, Jesse has himself a very unique situation, and I'm not saying this ain't few and far.
But I don't think it's unique.
No, I listen. No. I was saying, like, I believe that it's not few and far between. This is a big country with a lot of post offices, and the stress levels are, at an all-time high. So
Yeah.
no pun intended. But,
Yeah, carriers getting into fights,
yes.
getting arrested by the
Yeah.
postal inspectors. There's a lot of stuff that goes on.
But
Yeah, man.
we got to class it up a bit. I said this about, the TikTok nonsense. I said this about, people, anybody coming on social media, whether it's this platform, putting out bad information. If you're a straight laced person and you ain't got, and you got a family and you're trying to do your thing and you're talking on here, you got to have some accuracy, and
Gotta be
you got to make
professional.
sure you do your homework before you start coming, and this is where I'm segueing into some certain people and personalities that are on this this wonderful internet of ours.
Can I
Yeah.
interject for a
Yes,
second?
sir. Go right
I
ahead.
got a comment. Jesse, you sound like he should be a 204B.
Fuck
No,
you.
no, sir. I'm a working man.
Yep.
I'm a
I'm just
working
saying
man,
what the
but
comment says.
I also like holding people accountable.
That's the one
Just
thing that I personally believe as well. And so for the one that said that, and I always say that as well, and I respect what he said, and that's where I lose some of my people. If we do
yeah,
hold
listen,
management accountable, we got to also
yeah.
put a mirror up to ourselves
Jay,
because there has to be accountability.
as carriers, literally, we chew gum and walk at the same time.
Right.
We can work hard, ask for pay raises, ask for better protections, and we can act accordingly. We can show up. We cannot come to work high. We cannot make TikTok videos and shit like that,
Yeah, I got a
right?
problem with that.
We
Yeah.
can say yes, sir, no, ma'am to our customers. We can step it up, and we can also go, hey, we're getting fucked over.
Right.
We can do both, guys.
Mm.
It doesn't have to be one or the other. It doesn't. And holding another carrier accountable is just looking after your own craft. It's not selling out the person. It's looking after your own craft and your own company that you work for.
I like that. I like that.
I like it a lot. I said
All right,
it's-
now gotta understand to everybody that's watching, everybody is entitled to have a feeling. If you didn't like what he had to say, I respect that. That's what makes this place better. That's what makes this whole place better. But where did he say something wrong? That's the facts. Where did he say something wrong? Let that sink in. Did he say something wrong? Because if it was your business, wouldn't you want it to operate like that? I'm gonna just leave it at that for a second. But somebody said that pivot isn't even recognized by the NALC. I
well,
didn't know that. So
there are
if that's the
Wow.
case,
yeah.
why is pivoting such a normal part of your day at many stations? Is it working off a contract language or whatever the local offices? What when does that become normal?
Well,
What does that mean?
this is well covered by anybody who might listen to ADA arbitration. Like Corey is constantly talking about pet, DOIS, and managerial terms and words that are not in our lingo, are not in the M41, are not in the ELM, but they're used. Captured under time, not real. That's management.
Not
That's a management tool. Pet, DOIS, as Jay called it. It's a management tool. It's not a real thing. Um, you know, it's recognized as being part of the system, but we as carriers know where reality begins and where bullshit ends. So
Yeah.
you have to constantly be dealing with saying, I know this isn't real, but they are going to obviously push that into newer people's heads, and anybody who doesn't really, get the lingo down or get with somebody and learn what exactly they're telling you every day. That's what creates this mess and makes it more and more unpalatable every day to deal with. And so Will just said, aren't we going to bitch about Renfro in the contract? Yeah, thanks, Will. Thanks for the reminder. We were going to get around to that eventually.
There's already a lot of that.
Yeah. F Renfro. Thank you, Stephen Torres. Good to see you back, by the way.
But that's why, like with management stuff, you got to let it go through one year out the other, because they're going to start harassing CCAs from the gate. I've had CCAs come up to me and be like, the supervisor's crazy. Why is she saying this? And I'm like, trust me, nobody listens to that. Just do it safely and get it done. Like that.
Wow.
It's not doing, don't let management harass you. it might be easy to be like, dang, like what they're saying is messed up. Like, why are they picking on me? But they do that to everybody. They see fresh meat, they see somebody who's gullible, who doesn't know their rights, and they'll abuse it.
Sure.
100%.
I want to ask you guys a theoretical about management. What if the person that was qualified to manage carriers was a carrier and wore your uniform? What if the most senior carrier in that zone automatically became the manager of that zone?
That would be me. I don't know
There'd
if I
be
can
no
deal
flaws.
with it.
There would be no more applying for the job. It would be earning that title.
Earning would be great. Definitely. Yeah, like earning, like there's carriers who haven't been carrying 6 months and they're ready 204B. They
Yeah,
don't
you
even
should
know
have
the
to
job.
carry. We all say you should have to carry for a couple of years before you touch any
Yeah.
management position. You should not be
I
able
mean,
to get right into it.
even if you look at these titles that they give themselves, you got to think about this, guys. Names have meaning. Postmaster General. Okay? If you're a general, usually you earn that rank. Not in the post office. You get hired straight out of FedEx or Waste Management. Boom, you're a postmaster.
It's crazy.
In my opinion, you should climb up through the post office ranks and management positions, and then you should be postmaster general, not somebody that just comes from another company who doesn't have our best interest at hand, but has FedEx interest at hand.
Right. If you never carried mail before, you shouldn't tell other carriers what to do. Bottom line, you could see it. The supervisors who are the worst are the ones who never put on a satchel or were clerks. No offense to clerks, but if you're telling carriers what to do, you should know at least 1 or 2 years of carrying it every season, because a clerk's not going to know. Like in the wintertime, it's going to take a relay 10 times longer going through the snow. You got to be going through it.
Right.
True.
Right.
Very true.
You know, it
Very
goes
true.
right to supervisor is crazy.
So yeah, I'm poking my head down at the comments, and I see someone said I lost all respect for Corey Walton CLC. Now I want to get into that a little bit, but Jay, you want to do what you got to do first. Jay, what do you got? Oh, never mind. Hey, speaking of that, good timing. Mike Cariff in the house.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, Mike. What's up? Puerto Rico. There he is.
Casa Primo.
Back home now.
Yeah, welcome home. Welcome home. So I was just Jay, is your mic okay, no, I'm sorry. He's talking to somebody in the
My
room.
bad. I thought my mic was on. I've been talking to my son back and forth. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good, brother. I'm good.
I heard you talking Spanish to the people down in Puerto Rico.
In Puerto Rico.
I heard that.
Wepa.
Wepa. Listen, we got a little rowdy group here. We're talking some shit. It's kind of what we do. You just happen to be running for the national thing. Do you mind if any of them just like throw some questions at you? They said you got to earn your spot.
No problem. That's the way it is.
Oh,
right,
Nick has talked to Mike. I've spoken to Mike. Jesse, have you had the opportunity to speak to Mike?
No, I have not spoken to Mike.
Well,
oh shit, Jesse's a mean one. He's like the
I'm not mean.
Jesse has put out a video with Jay a couple days ago. That was great, and obviously he's in a situation of like a lot of I guess we got to call it fuckery going on in his particular neck of the woods, as to where I'm at a more I'm more at a very not so, I'm going to say fully peaceful moment, but definitely in my 20 years, Mike, it's been a pretty steady going at this point. I'm in a smaller mom and pop station, no SNDC craziness. That's right near me, and we could have been in it, but we're not in it right now. We're seemingly staying put, but what Jesse can throw at you in just a little short time he spent on here is very, very amped and very real.
Can I ask this straightforward question? I just read it. I like it.
Yeah.
Cariff, would you support 5-day delivery if it got us a 10% raise?
That's
a far-fetched statement. Just hypothetically speaking.
That's a crazy hypothetical because if you go to a 5-day delivery, is less revenues than coming into the postal service. We ain't getting no big raise
There you go.
coming out of that. So I don't know. That's not something that would
You-
ever happen.
You
But
got to be realistic with the questions, folks. I understand that we all are dreaming big here, but you got to be realistic. You know, like
Grief.
he knows as well as I know that hypotheticals don't work. And if you're doing, if you're putting content out with hypotheticals, that's not the way to go these days. You want to be in the real zone here, not putting out hypotheticals. So
10%, 10 years, probably more realistic.
yeah, over 10 years, yeah, 1% every year. Yeah. So, but Jesse, yeah, you should be talking. Give a question for Mike, a question or two, and Michael is always great at answering our questions. We appreciate it.
Yeah, since you're running for the NALC, do you guys negotiate or put into perspective of what the federal government gives other agencies compared to the post office?
yeah,
Because
go ahead.
I mean, the Pentagon in 2024 received 800, and people are always saying that the post office is losing money, but we made 80.5 billion in 2025 and lost 9.0 billion. Now you tell me what agency is making 80.5 billion dollars for the federal government? Not many. Not many.
Yeah. The postal service is off budget. You know, like it's an entity. It's not like all of the other government agencies that are fully funded by taxes and they don't bring in their own revenue source. The postal service is supposed to, have its own revenue and pay for itself. And before that was never the case, but they
Right.
changed that
Mhm.
and it became like 100% paid for by postage. Well, I shouldn't say 100% because you have like free matter for the blind, you have some congressional stuff, you have some media matter that's paid
Yeah.
for by the federal government, but it's very small for the most
Yeah,
part. Everything's
minimal.
paid for by postage, and it's a unique situation. And so going forward, if the postal service is going to have the same mandate, meaning, and that's why I don't agree with any reduction in anything. I think that in order for the letter carrier to continue to be relevant and very instrumental in all these communities across America, we need to be out there. We need to be delivering more stuff and bringing people their
And
goods and
that's
services and their mails. But how do
what
we
I want
do
to
that?
Well, that's what I want to ask you also. Do you think the NALC should change their name? Because we're not only delivering letters anymore.
Yeah, I thought about
We
that too.
we deliver packages. We deliver Amazon packages. We deliver UPS. I've delivered a FedEx package. How the hell
Yeah.
did that happen? We deliver medicine.
Gets mixed up.
We deliver more stuff than these other carrier companies that are making more money than us. That, like I said in my last video, is completely unfair to the letter carrier. I think when you guys go into these meetings, you need to put into a bigger perspective of what's going on in the delivery world in America. I mean, now, Carriff, you got these little janky carrier companies now. I don't know if you guys heard of this company named Lasership.
Yo,
Got
Lasership
all
is
type of
Lasership is the one that's been around
What the
longer.
hell?
Yeah, Lasership's been around for a minute. The other ones are like Umu or not Timu. This is
Yeah, but these
yeah.
people are taking business away from us, and they're very janky. I mean, I have customers coming up to me saying they delivered stuff in their bushes.
I found a Lasership package for a town 70 miles away in my delivery area. I'm like, yo, somebody ain't paying attention.
This is what I'm saying. You guys need to put on the table that, like, straight up, the post office needs to start taking business from other companies in order to survive, and we need more federal funding. I mean, you got private UPS stores. You got these little janky mail office buildings in these shopping plazas called Pack Ship and all this other crap that take our business. They have PO boxes in there. I have to pick up post office products from there. They are taking away our money. And then the post office wants to turn around and go, "Oh, we're broke." What the hell?
You're giving the money away.
I think that long term, if the postal service either has to capture more revenue or they have to go back to being taxpayer funded, at least partially taxpayer funded, because otherwise you're just going to start deteriorating the service unless people are going to use it. and it's
Yes,
just
sir.
not going to be around. It's going to be parceled off, and you're going to have that's privatization. That's where you start
Mhm.
selling off assets and
Yep.
all of that other stuff. But to keep us as a vibrant delivery company for America, and we go everywhere, you either got to bring in more revenue or you got to bring in tax money.
Right.
One or the other.
On track.
And
That's
I
another
I
word.
know
On track.
a lot of people freak out when they hear tax money, tax money, tax money, right? With the post office. But you guys have to realize FedEx and Amazon, they get tax subsidies. And they also compete for government contracts. So they are partly living off of tax money, just like the post office is. Almost every big company in America does this. But the post office, it's a shame that we have to fight and do all this for this tax money, and we're part of the federal government technically. And some of our workers are sleeping in their cars, sleeping in hotel rooms and whatnot. That is unacceptable.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable.
Those stories are
It's
the hardest to hear. Like I said, been around, I've been here for 20 years, and, I never could imagine the idea of someone stating like that someone is sleeping in a car, showering at the station, all these things I hear. And, that it kind of hinders me from saying sometimes what I feel about the current moment. Like, I love the carrier job, but of course I love it because I've been here a while. I've been given those opportunities, and then Table Two came along, and Mike, who is the constructors of Table Two besides Postal Management? Who agreed to Table Two? I mean, Fred Rolando and Brian Renfro, essentially, like in 2014.
I wouldn't give Renfro credit for it. He wasn't
I
really
know
patient
I
enough.
know he wasn't at the top of the heap at
Right, he
that
wasn't
point.
at the top of the thing
Yeah,
there.
yeah, he was. I know he rose up
Well,
quick, and but
I don't know. There was you could go back and read that arbitration award from DAS, and it
mhm,
kind of gives you some details
yeah,
from January of 2013. The way I remember it, and I wasn't really intimately involved back then as far
right,
as at that
sure.
level,
No,
but
that's a while
the
back.
way I
Yeah,
remember it, what we were trying to accomplish was make sure that the non-career workforce would have a pathway to career, which prior to that we had transitional employees who were
tease.
much better paid, but
Yeah,
they didn't have a pathway to career. And they could
right,
be let go at any time, that kind of thing. So
sure.
we wanted that. And the post office was pushing for a much lower starting pay. And somehow the arbitrator gave us what we wanted as far as the pathway to career, but gave the post office this really low starting
Mm,
pay.
yeah,
But then the question is,
so
once you get on the career pay scale, like the non-career thing is an L for the carriers, right?
yeah,
But now it's compounded by the table two pay chart, because the table two pay chart not only starts a lot lower, but it takes forever to
to
build
get
up.
up.
The
Yeah,
table one pay chart, you had all those raises right at the beginning, and you
exactly.
were making good money within like 3 years.
That's
Now
it.
it takes forever, even after getting on the career pay chart, before you really start making some really decent money, 10, 15 years into your career. So how did that happen? Was that something that was a concession, or was that something that the arbitrator said? I'm not really sure of the details of that.
Whether something can be done about that. Thank you for saying that, Mike. Thank you for being uh you know vying for this position at the top here and saying what you're saying. I understand that it is a tall order to try and get this wiped out, abolished, get back to having carriers have a good, middle class life, if you want to call it that. I said, even at $40 an hour, to say that, it's not the greatest, but obviously it works out, depending upon your area you live in. If you're a high cost of living, you're gonna feel it more. But if you're in a different, more rural area, maybe you thrive with $40 an hour. But 2022, from $19.15 in
mm,
2006 as a PTF to 2120 something in 2026 is fucking insane. I
Well,
still can't fathom
just
that.
look at the wage that the transitional employees were making in like 2011.
Yes.
That was $22.15 back then,
Yeah.
15 years ago.
That was
And for
huge.
now for
It's
it
the
to be
same thing.
$21, we haven't even made it back to the 22.15 yet. And of course, 22.15 now is more like $30 an hour.
Mm,
So we're so far from
yep.
where we were on wages. So far away.
And we
Very
got to
good.
rely on the overtime too. Like if we're like I'm still only at step D and I'm like I need my 50, 60 hours to, live.
Live that
you know?
mailman Nick life that we all.
Yeah, the
It's-
hustle. Get money life.
I said,
But
Nick.
we're seeing a lot of carriers out there that are not getting the overtime that they were because just that's a little kind of nerdy contractual thing. But the post office has places where they're hiring PTF, career letter carriers. There's just some places, but the cap, meaning the number of non-career CCAs that they can hire, is district wide, and that cap was never lowered as a result of the PTFs that they're hiring. So they
Right.
can hire the number of PTFs. Let's say they hire 10% PTFs in the whole district. They can still hire the same 20% CCAs.
Yep.
And what we're seeing is in places like Nick, where you work at, they don't have PTFs. And so we're seeing them flood the market with CCAs in those
CCAs.
A lot
places.
of CCA.
And then the people that are
More-
regulars on the lower steps of the scale that need that overtime, they can't get it because there's CCAs all over the place. I was at my station the other day and there's all type of CCAs up in there in Chicago.
And
It's crazy.
I got a question.
And
Is my
CCA
mic on? Is my mic on? I got a serious question. Because I hear a lot of the people, and I just read a comment. Chris Cash, he said, table two
Mid guy.
things keep moving fast. Table two mid guys been swimming against the current while the newer guys get steps
Yes.
cut. I understand that, but here's the thing, Karif. I love you like a play cousin. Accountability, and I want you to be real. And don't sugarcoat shit. If you became the national president, because I see a lot of the newer carriers tend to, gravitate towards you. What would you be willing to lose politically inside the union to fix what these carriers are dealing with right now? I mean, you got a lot. I mean, you got the old school carriers, you got one sitting right there, but you got a lot of the new ones that's struggling. They want to eat. We got Bad Mouth. He's still dealing with some votes or something.
Yeah.
But these people living in tents and
Guy
it's
lived in
not
a
your
tent.
fault. It's not your fault. But how would you heard the question? I ain't gonna repeat it. You just give me something.
What's the political part? What's the political part that we're supposed to be concerned with? Well, are you saying because there's different interests within the union?
Yes.
Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. Here's the way I answer that.
You came in by yourself though. You know what I mean? So you don't have much around you to lose. You understand what I'm saying? Your only dedication should be to your carriers.
The membership. I mean,
Members.
yeah. I've always felt
opinion.
that way. But look, to answer your question, in my opinion, if we don't have a future, if the Postal Service doesn't have a future, if the letter carrier is not at the center of the delivery network in the future, then it hurts everybody. It hurts the carrier that's been there 20 years, 30 years. It hurts the retiree. It hurts everybody because less money is coming into the system. Even the annuitants. I mean, the Postal Service stopped making those first payments a couple weeks ago, right? And so people are worried about their annuity, and they should be, going forward. Right now, there's nothing to worry about. But what about in 5 years and 10 years and 15 years? And so to me, you got to solve the problem of what is this job? You got to make the job desirable so that people will make a career out of it, so that the Postal Service can provide that consistent service to the public, and so that the whole thing can kind of grow and be what we need it to be. And so if you don't fix the problem contractually, which is that the pay is too damn low at the beginning, if you don't fix that problem, then you're not going to have a dependable, reliable public postal service with the letter carrier at the heart of it. And so maybe you say to the people that have been there longer, hey, you kind of got yours already. If you have 30 years in, at least if you have 15 years in, you're at top pay, you're getting 5 weeks and a day of vacation time. You have a really great retirement system with the TSP, with the FERS, with the Social Security. it's time to look out for the people coming in and the newer carriers, because that's where our people are really hurting.
Mike, I'm getting my 5 weeks in 1 day this year. Ain't that great?
It's a beautiful
I'm
thing,
getting
man.
20 year 20 this
It's
August.
European standards, my brother.
Yeah. 5 weeks.
So,
Yeah,
so Mike, I
that's
have a
true.
question real quick.
Yeah, man.
Say if all this higher pay goes through, say if they're like, hey, we'll even start new hires out as regulars, right? But you got to give us disciplinary say so. So if one of your carriers fucks up, if they keep calling out, if they're stealing mail, etc., they're fired. No union action. Done. Would you guys agree to that?
I don't know about that one, because one of the things that's so important about the contract is protection against unjust discipline. And it doesn't say that you can't be disciplined. It doesn't say that the employer can't have rules. It doesn't say none of that. But unjust, meaning it doesn't meet the test of just cause. The reason why that's in there is because over a long career, it's supposed to be a career job. And over a long career, I'm going to mess up any number of times. I'm going to develop bad habits. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to have bad days, whatever. But I'm still, as long as you tell me about my deficiency and I correct it, I'm supposed to be able to keep my job. And so the language is written in a certain way for a reason. And I'd be real hesitant to change that language, because what is the value of the job if the employer is able to get rid of you and hire someone new at a lower rate of pay from one day to the next? It's always going to be in the employer's interest to get a new employee, because they're going to pay them less. So we have to protect our employees that want to keep that job. Like my brother's Chooch is getting 15 years. He's now got this added leave, and he's now close to the top pay. And you're getting these additional benefits. But shit, if the post office could, they would fire you and bring in someone new.
Yeah,
So
damn right.
to me, those protections mean a lot. And I'd have to see what kind of language they were proposing to see if it would hurt us or not. But I would be real hesitant for something like that. I gotta say that.
Yeah, I can't tell you more anymore. Like, this whatever Boy Scout kind of mentality lives in me to say that I'm never gonna stop wanting to come in and do the job well. And I know that older carriers can take a bad rap, and some of them do damn well deserve a bad rap. They can be pretty mean. They can come down hard on a lot of new people and say, it's your problem. You got what am I supposed to do for you? And I said, well, I'm always going to advocate for the worker. I'm always going to sit here and observe what became for me in X amount of time and what is lacking for that same carrier in the same amount of time. It's something that I wake up every day and say, this is going to get better. Like, I have eternal optimism that it could be better, but it might have to start with the guy right here in the room here, or the potential guy to whoever is taking over this thing, because the guy in place right now, Brian Renfro, obviously, we have watched continuous footage and videos, and Mike questioning him out in the open at one of the sessions, and seemingly him having his mic shut off because nobody wants to take on the big bad wolf when it comes down to it. And we had so much nonsense, and charges, and Mike is dealing with something right now with Article 10 charges that are just nonsensical, and it's very, very it's hard. I sit back every day and I observe what's new each day, and it's sickening to say like how divided and how nasty it becomes. So, Mr. H,
I
have
got
a
a
question?
question. I ain't really got a question, but Chris Cash made a comment. Nobody talks about the middle, the one sitting in the middle.
Table two
Of,
guys at step D through
yeah.
H being treated like a 30-year carrier when they're making barely more than a newbie.
But forget that. Nick, you over there quiet. This your homie. Y'all eat that garbage pizza together. You got you going, don't you got something to ask this man? I mean, you got him. You on my channel. You might not even be the real Nick. You can't be scared. Ask
This
him.
is AI.
Yeah.
So Mike, I know you look at, the internet and comments, certain people may not be on board with your message. What do you say with people who may not be, you know, on like they might be on another candidate? What do you think what is your message to them who may not be, they might say, "Oh, he's not qualified," or this or that. Like, what do you say to those people?
I mean, I just tell them ask around. I tell them go to the website, look at the full platform. I'm the only one that I've seen that's running for president that has a plan for the union, that has a plan for the postal service, that has a plan for how we're going to move forward. And I got a track record where we've been able to accomplish things in all my years as a union rep. And you can look at all of that, and you can ask questions, and you can, just kind of judge that for yourself. And I think that it'll come up very favorable for me. But hey, every member gets a vote, and it's a secret vote, so I don't really stress on if someone says they're going to vote for this person or that person, because hey, that's your vote, and you could be telling me I'm voting for you, and then turn around and vote for the other guy. That I can't do nothing about that, and that's fine. That's the beauty of a democracy. I just hope everyone participates in this election, and I
Yeah,
hope
Yes.
I hope everyone just
really
kind
so.
of, I mean, I think we can do better. I think most of the members of the union, the vast majority, feel that we can do better than what we have right now. And so if we can do better, let's go ahead and go in that direction. Let's make sure everyone is participating. Everyone gets the ballot, return it, vote who you want to vote for. It's not that big a deal to me. I just want to make sure that everyone's participating in the election. That's the main thing for me.
I appreciate that you say that. And where my camera at? One of these cameras is working. Listen, and I know a lot of people that watch me. Some of them like me, some of them don't like me. I really, I don't really care. But listen, I noticed that I've watched a lot of your videos, and I haven't really heard you slandering your candidate, the gentleman that you're going against. And I respect that. I don't even really hear you mention him in a negative manner, and I respect that. And here's another thing. So a lot of the people that watch these videos, oh, Carif's this and that. I don't hear that coming from you. I don't hear the smear campaigns coming from you. I
Hmm.
respect that. Um, that could also mean that people may think you a pushover, though.
Yeah. You know why, and I'm not a pushover. Don't take my kindness for weakness or nothing like that. But I just feel like, honestly, man, with everything we're dealing with, the members of the union do not want to see their union leadership bickering with each other and taking
Mhm.
shots at each other. And just nobody wants to see all that shit. Nobody wants to participate in that. Like I said, I want everyone to participate in the election. And if people feel like it's a mudslinging contest, they're not going to want to participate. And so that's not good for the union. That's not good for none of us going forward. And I try to keep that in my mind. Not that I don't want to respond to every little thing, but I just know it's not in our interest as a union to go down every little rabbit hole and address every little thing that comes up. So,
See, wait, there's definitely rabbit holes, and there's definitely big gaping holes. And unfortunately, like I said, I got my eye on the prize. Jay and I have constant communication. Nick and I have communication. Jesse's in the mix now. And
Yes,
we
sir.
watch and we listen, and we hate skewed messages. We hate hearsay messages that seem to have no validity or any backing to them, and they have been put out by your competitor, and they've been put out by certain I'll call them minions in social media avenues that aren't YouTube, a little bit more kid-like a manner, and a certain guy made bigoted comments that tied to you, and we shook our heads in disgust and said, I don't see that in any way, shape, or form from this gentleman. I think he is the most well-spoken, outspoken. He knows the book. He can jabber for a long time about a certain subject because he has so much insight into it. And it's very eye opening to somebody who's been around a little bit longer than everybody to say, I don't like when I see and hear things that have come across my table and and it's clearly a very cult-like manner that these messages are released in, and some of this shit is just downright childish and very very misguided, and and it has that ugliness tied to it of like a bigotry comment, and it started off a while ago where they said that you made a comment that the other candidate James was a black man and he couldn't be the president. I said where is the substantiated evidence of that? I couldn't stand hearing that, and I reached out as far as my reach could go to say I'd like some clarity on that if I could, and nobody ever responded. Nobody ever followed up with anything like that. So again, I don't have a crystal ball, but I like everything that Mike has to say. I appreciate him coming on here. I don't see a lot of things. I see some negativity finally built up to a structured movement like the CLC stating that everything's hunky-dory here and we're going to take this thing no problem, and that's a circus show going on with these other candidates. I don't like that shit at all, so let me be the first one to say it. CLC, you do not have my vote right now because of what you seemingly planted out there with your minions and certain strange things
Political
on those that Reddit world is a complete nonsensical thing. And sorry if you don't like what I have to say. You don't like what I have to say, but I'm putting my support out for Mr. Cariff today, clearly, so everybody knows.
Mike, do you guys host debates with each other?
Now, here's why I have to tell you. I'm not trying to take a shot at the brother, but James Henry will not debate me.
I think that should be qualification. I think you guys should.
I agree.
Debate.
Yeah.
I agree.
I did send the invite out
multiple times
because I've had Henry on here, and I respect Henry a great deal as well. We both have the same last name. That's fact. But I put it out there and asked if they wanted to have a discussion, because no matter what y'all see or think behind the scenes, if I'm not mistaken, he's been to your house or you've been to his house, right, Mike?
He's been to mine.
Yeah,
I've never been to his out there in California.
It's just one of those things where everybody think that there's always this unnecessary tension, and the tension comes from the fickle carriers. I'm saying it. The fickle carriers behind the scenes
Creating drama.
acting childish. They actually speak. They sit up the top. They talk to each other, but y'all making it into more than what it is.
So when is James coming on so we can have like an open forum where everyone can ask questions to the both
I
of
have
us?
invited him to come back. I haven't gotten a response.
Good.
Now
this is the number one guy on YouTube by leaps and bounds of anybody else. Nick is second and Jay is first, and there's that Nick is obviously consistently building more and more, but that man right there has been at coming up on a decade now, and his following is far beyond anybody else's reach. So he puts out the invite. You should show him proof. Plain and simple. Mike always shows, and we don't see that on the CLC end.
There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I wish I had Bad Mouth on here because he is really unfiltered, and it's not my place to say what they have going on. And when he does come on, he might come on. What is today? Tuesday, Thursday? I don't even know what today is. There it is.
Hump day, buddy. Hump day.
So I understand you repeating that over and over again, King Keith. Real carriers are voting for Henry. And I said I respect the fact that you are voting for Henry. That's a choice that you choose to make. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what Cariff just said.
Yeah.
Vote your conscience. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't hear that coming from this channel.
Real carriers. Yeah. Real carriers.
You won't hear us talking about, no, they're bad. No, that's not what you're going to hear from here. I've spoken to him. He texts me randomly, good afternoon. That's behind the scenes. Y'all, the carriers, are making it more than what it is. It's petty. It's childish. That's not what real adults do. Nonetheless, somebody keeps asking, do you know what's going on with the current negotiations? Y'all getting like 80, 90 bucks an hour or something?
Yeah, Mike has a bug in the room, and he gets fed all the information. Come on.
Well,
I think there's about a 0% chance that we're going to, very close to zero, that we're going to get a contract offer from the Postal Service that's going to be acceptable, because we're so far away from where we should be at. We're so far away from what UPS drivers make.
King
Mike,
Keith
what is
said, I'm a child. I'm a child because you repeated the same thing. Henry's going to win 40 times. I respected your comment. I respected the fact that you left your comment. You're typing it over and over and over and over again.
Child, bro.
I'm a child. I'm pretty sure my son is older than you. The carrier back there. You can leave all the comments so long as you don't disrespect me. I ain't got no problem with it. Keep typing it, but I'm not a child. Understand that. 8 grandkids. 8. Child. Keep it going. Keep it going. I'm sorry, Mike. Continue.
I forgot what I was talking about. The
Mike, what
contract. So the Postal Service, look, you could just look at, and it's a minor issue. Is the Postal Service willing to solve the uniform problem? It would cost them more money than what they're giving us now. If any uniform program that they came up with,
No, it
I
wouldn't.
say no. Are they willing to solve the grievance problem? Are they willing to? I don't see them willing to fix anything that's wrong with the contract, because everything that they would need to fix is going to cost them more money. I just don't see them doing that. And so where's the contract going? It's going to arbitration if our president takes us there this time, because he didn't do it last time. But hopefully this time there'll be more pressure from the membership to make sure he takes us to arbitration this time.
I disagree with the allowance thing. That's not true at all.
What's that?
If you go onto Amazon right now and you look up postal products, you can buy postal shirts, postal sweatpants, and all this crap, right? Those are private companies. The post office needs to take that back. Those should be sold straight from the post office, and the post office could collect revenue from that, and that in turn could be put into our clothing allowance. It makes no sense that new hires are being thrown into the streets and they're wearing street clothes. All they have is their badge. They should be furnished boots, okay, postal shoes, full uniform, hat, right? It makes no sense.
That's what I'm
We got
saying.
these.
They should.
We have
All that
private
costs
companies.
money. That costs.
Yeah,
that costs Postal Service money.
The
They're not going to want to do it.
They need to. Let me ask you something, Mike. March 18th, 1970, right? 8 days of strike. Okay. In New York, 200,000 postal workers striked. In 8 days, they got new, not only a contract, but an act put into place by Congress to pay them more and to have better, safer working conditions. What does the word strike mean to you?
It means the thing that you do when there's no other options left to you.
Exactly.
To me, the strike of 1970, when they changed the law, like you referred to, it gave us leverage in any future contract negotiations, and we have a ton of leverage now. We're just not utilizing it. We're acting like we don't have leverage when we do, and the reason why we have leverage is because the law says that if we don't come to terms, it goes to the arbitration panel, and the standard for the arbitration panel is paying benefits comparable to those in the private sector of the economy of the United States. And the UPS driver contract is way better than ours. And so
Yes.
you have that leverage to tell the Postal Service, you got to come to the table. And I think we can get a good contract if we fight for it. I just don't think we're going to get a negotiated settlement with the Postal Service. I think we fight for it through the neutral arbitration panel, we can get it. Because of the comparability standard, the UPS contract don't expire until next year. So that contract is on the books. That paid at $49 an hour, that 4 years to the top, that 100% of their health insurance covered.
Yeah.
All of that is on the books.
Yeah.
It's on the books.
When these people that you're talking to, these people up in headquarters, when they hear the word strike, they piss their pants. And that's what UPS did. And they gave them a contract within days.
They threatened them.
Quick.
They just threatened them with a strike.
Right.
Right? But carriers, clerks, when everybody's not on board. But if somebody like you comes and puts a video out, say on the scanner, hey, we're being fucked. We're backed into a corner, like you said. strike, we will get a contract. We will. I know it's scary, but throughout human history for laborers, it works. It tells the higher ups these people are not fucking around. They want for the toll that they're taking on their bodies every day.
Right. The only thing the post office does differently, Jesse, from the rest of those companies is they constantly cry broke. Which makes you say, like, well, how are we going to make a push for anything if they constantly are on the camera, constantly in front of Congress? We're broke, we're broke, we're broke. And then you see 10 different examples of things contrasting that. Case in point, managerial raises consistently, and just the starting pay for a level 17 EAS supervisor comes in around $80,000. And you say,
Right, exactly. Waste the money.
Unbelievable. Yes, sir.
2 HR people came into my office and handed out pamphlets for a job fair for the post office.
For a job fair for EAS.
I came up to them and I said, what's your positions? Oh, we work in HR. I said, oh, okay. So you guys can, I didn't tell them this, but in my mind, I'm like, you guys can afford to hire brand new HR employees, but the carriers are sitting here sleeping in their
getting
just
sprayed.
There you go. There you go. Yep. They said, the hypocrisy stares you in the face every day. And
And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but carriers, we used to get messages on our scanner saying, hey, the post office made a quarterly revenue of $6 billion. Now, all of a sudden, when the contract negotiations start, we don't get those messages on our scanners anymore because it was propaganda.
Yes, very good.
Lying to us.
Yeah, we see that scanner messages now lean more towards buckling your seatbelt, and there's no money talk about revenues or anything like that. Very, very good observation, Jesse. Just the smallest thing to the biggest thing staring you right in the face. Like, we both gave examples. Small example, big example. And this is the consistency of slander that I think is thrown out every day. Now, Mike, obviously, you have such transparency to the rule book and and awareness of what's going on and what the pulse of the carrier is. So you've stated you put your statement out there. You got your webpage on there, Cara for Prez. That people obviously maybe need to take a harder look at and say, all right, maybe Mike, maybe I need to look a little bit deeper into what Mike has said. Like, don't just go on your other particular podcast and hear some things said about him not being a serious candidate, and understand that there is definitely a following here. And, like I said, I'm going to lend my support, and I'm going to say it's flat out as a 20-year letter carrier, a Table 1 letter carrier who came in as a PTF, who has had a very good run at things, very fortunate, very thankful every day, but never taken for granted one day that I come in here and say I am better than somebody. Too bad for you, Table 2. That is not me, and it never will be me. I am a product of humility and selflessness, and I call me a Boy Scout, whatever you want. Call me a simp. I said, I can't help but, God made me this way. And I just believe that everybody needs to have a better feeling of waking up in the morning and saying, hey, I'm a letter carrier with the U.S. Postal Service. This is a great thing. Plain and simple.
I got a question for you, Gareth. If you were to step into that role, how do you fight management on behalf of carriers when the system still requires them to do day-to-day cooperation, day-to-day work just to keep things moving? What is the line between working with them and standing against them? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do.
It's a thin line, and that's something that I know Corey is extremely strong at. His main base is arbitration. He's very intelligent when it comes down to the language. and I'm sure I've learned a lot from you as well. But how do you make that work for you with on behalf of carriers? I guess that's the question.
I think like, so one good example to me was like, what was that? Yeah, yesterday. Yesterday they had that nationwide seatbelt pledge, and
Yep.
I thought that was a good thing. And
Oh God.
there was a lot of carriers that were, and maybe Jesse's one of them. Like, what is this shit? To me, we got the guarantee on the poster itself that taking the pledge cannot be used against you in any way. And so to me, now you have a win-win situation. You have a situation where our safety is being highlighted, something that's good for us is being implemented, and the Postal Service is getting their way, meaning that they want to tell people that they got to wear their seatbelt. And for us, that's good for us too, So to me, that's a win-win, with the assumption, which was in writing, that this can't be used to discipline any carrier. So I'd be looking for things like that are win-wins, and try to promote those things that are not, that don't harm the organization, because you want the organization to be functional and efficient and, serve the American people. And we just want to be the people that are doing that job. And I think we can work together. Maybe I'm naive. They need a lot of awakening on the management side, because they're off. They worry about the wrong shit all the time. But if we can get them focused on serving the American people together with us and build that partnership, that's what I think would be helpful. Jesse, you want to say something?
Yeah. First of all, we had a carrier. No, he didn't lose his life, but he was gravely injured, and he fell out of his vehicle after being hit in an intersection. Part is his fault, and mostly at fault is the United States Postal Service. That pledge was bull, in my opinion. What should have happened is they should have contacted a defense contractor, whoever the case may be. They should have had a meeting and said, "Hey, for you guys, we're going to put automatic seatbelts in these LLVs and FFVs, because you guys are not responsible enough to put on your own seatbelts. So this is what's going to happen. When you go inside that LLV or FFV, you're going to have an automatic seatbelt click to you. And that means every time that vehicle turns on, even when you're doing curbside, yes, that seatbelt will be clicked in."
They
They
put
need to
them in
put safe.
Subaru. They put them in Subarus in the
Yeah,
80s. I
they
think.
used
Yeah,
they used to have this technology in the
and
80s and
Hondas
early
and
90s.
Acuras and yeah.
Okay. And the fact that these LLVs and FFVs don't have airbags, what the hell?
This
A
is the
pledge ain't
airbag.
gonna, you know what those carriers are gonna do with those pledges? Don't. And then next week, another carrier is gonna get hit by somebody and fly out the fucking FFV, and everybody's gonna be looking, and the old lady's gonna go, "How did this happen?"
But what's the
Come
answer
on.
though?
The answer is infrastructure. They need to build infrastructure to put up safer for carriers. People do stupid stuff all the time. That's why seatbelts were invented, because people were getting drunk and flying out of cars and shit when they were getting hit, and people protested the seatbelts. Yes, to them, but you know what? You go home to your wife and kids that night when you get hit and you do something stupid in the intersection.
I got a comment.
No, I know which one you're going to read, Jay. Read it, please.
Yeah.
I know exactly
It
which one you're
just
going to.
he did. I think he retracted it, but hey
You
man,
saw it.
they were talking about you campaigning on the workroom floor. How
For
are you allowed
violating
to
the
be on the
Hatch
work?
Act, Mike.
the-
Yeah.
I don't I don't think the Hatch Act, I think you misunderstood what the Hatch Act is, Daniel. But we'll let Mike explain. How is it that you're able to go into a station,
All these
and
stations
all
that
these
seem to be
stations
letting you
and
in
campaign?
somehow and talking.
You know, my answer would be, I mean, how does your locals campaign? Like, you know what I mean? Like they
They come
literally
in.
campaign in the station. That's my answer. I don't know. I don't know. You the one running. How is it you're able to go on the workroom floor? I heard you talking Spanish over there in Puerto Rico. How do you pull that off?
Well, first of all, I'm on leave. So if I'm on leave, I'm not employed by the union. You can do anything as a free citizen. I have a postal badge. I'm a postal employee, which gives me access to the facilities. I go in there, usually it's somebody that works there that has invited me there, right? And so they either talk with the manager or I go talk to the manager and I say, hey, you mind if I walk around and let people know I'm running for president of the union? They don't care. It's not like, it doesn't affect their operation. I'm just walking around. I'm a postal employee. They know who I am. And so it's nothing, it's definitely not a hat shack because a hat shack is partisan politics. You have to be running as like a Democrat or a
Right.
Republican.
Right.
So an internal union election is not, like you said, the people need to know who the candidates are and they want to
Yes.
have the opportunity to meet me. And so by me going out to the post offices, I know I can meet a lot of carriers in a short period of time and I can give them information and I can answer their questions. And so if management wanted to say, you can't come inside, okay, I would
Uh,
have to stand outside, like
yeah.
in the parking lot. I still have access to the facility, but I would have to stand outside in the break room or the parking lot or something. They don't have to give me access to the workroom floor, but like I say, as long as I'm not interrupting the
Yeah.
operation, they don't have a problem with it. So
Mike would turn into one of those goons on social media that tries to amp up the situation in the postal lobby by having the camera and you see that stuff and you're like, yeah, I think Mike, I think that's a very clear clarification and explanation of why you were able to do what you're doing. Thank you for clearing that up. I'm glad you did it on the largest YouTube viewed postal content creator in the universe, and everybody got to hear it, so they can settle
there
the
you
fuck
go.
down and stop
Right.
wondering why was this man inside a post office. Well,
No, but
I
out of respect, Daniel donated. I appreciate you. Daniel donated because you answered the question straightforward. Sometimes
Oh, hey, there you go.
it's one of those things where y'all just ask the question. I seen that floating around quite a bit. People like, "Oh, I can't believe he's inside of there." Hey, guess what? I asked the question. He gave a straightforward answer. See that? He got it
can
out the
I
way.
can
Boom.
I define an instance of violating the Hatch Act if I could just have a minute to
Oh shit.
yeah. I'll tell you
Go
about an
ahead.
instance of somebody violating the Hatch Act. A certain social media creator who just kind of found his way back onto the scene of YouTube violated the Hatch Act right out in the open on YouTube in uniform, on the clock in the truck, stating that I don't believe mail carriers should vote by mail. Now, that person was called out by Mr. H and myself about 2 years ago, and the comment and the video was pulled down immediately, and someone reached out, kind of a middleman, to Jay and said, hey, he pulled it down, he apologized, and I said, well, what was done, it was done, and it happened, and you can't triple stamp a double stamp, as they say. I said that happened, and that gentleman is back in the loom. In a very, kind of coincidental timing of saying that the CLC is taking a little bit of bad press as of late, which I'll clarify. To say that we already talked about Mike being accused of something that was completely out of pocket and very out of character. But more recently, Mr. Morris, Badmouth Morris, who was part of the CLC, recently separated himself, and he did that because he did not like the direction of the way things were being handled. He did not like the direct attack on Mike here. That had to do with a certain gentleman on TikTok who decided to just put out some very belligerent and bigoted videos. And he just happens to be a companion of the CLC, and some of the the campaign people seem to like the message that he puts out. So basically just told, hey, kill the beef with that guy and just forget about it and move on. And Mr. Morris, Badmouth Morris, was basically, I'm not going to just move on from that because I didn't like the way that transpired, and basically, you know, made 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 Mike, look like he was something that he is not. So we got that information straight up. That information is well out there, and I can say the name's Ricardo Guzman, and I can say the name um, Michael Rivera, and everybody could Google that and take a good hard look at what's going on with that particular situation. That is a CLC candidate along on their slate, Ricardo Guzman, and you can look at the name Michael Rivera, and you can see that there is a GoFundMe for Michael Rivera for the mistreatment and the CLC's kind of turning a blind eye to an injustice that was caused for him and his well-being. And Badmouth, brought that to light along with a lot of other people that are bringing it to light. So, the return of the gentleman on YouTube that I've been speaking of that violated the Hatch Act, and yes, you did, and you always will have, and I'll always remember it. And I'm going to remind you, if you're going to come on here and you're going to do content, I said you should have your T's crossed and your I's dotted. You shouldn't be putting shit out there without a little bit of a little more accuracy, a little more research. Talk to the real people like Mr. H does every day, not just what ChatGPT might be telling you, because it gets old and it gets old fast. And this guy, he said there's a certain kind of carrier that might follow this movement and say, hey, he's not a bad guy. He's not doing anything wrong. What are you on his case so much for? And I said, well, I have eyes and I have ears, and I have my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. If I see something that's put out there that feels like bullshit, then I'm going to call it out. And Jay's going to call it out, and I'm going to be right here with him to say, this is getting old. So that's what that's
Yeah,
what
you
I
gotta know what you're talking about.
Randall said, one team, stay together, vote how you want. I respect that. Daniel said you could tell he supports the CLC. Respect that. But side note, there's the camera right there. I'm like, where the camera at? Listen, I do have Mr. Jonathan Smith, which is the president of APWU. Talking to you, Mike. I know you asked me a question the other day, and I did relay that as well. So somebody just texted me and said, what do you think about the idea of coalition bargaining? I ain't got my glasses on. Feels like that y'all can get a better shake if you negotiated wages together. Mike Cariff asked if he could come on here and actually have a conversation with my union president. And I like the fact that bringing people from different unions, if they were sitting at the top, come together, because why fight? Why fight? You got the carriers doing clerk work. We're going to be filing grievances. We're going to be getting paid. You got clerks running out doing carrier work. You understand what I mean?
They are.
Bring it together.
Where's that at?
So what do you think about
Where's this shit at?
what do you think about brother Lino was the one that asked that question from Miami. He said, what do you think about the idea of coalition bargaining?
For the NELC, they decided to break away from bargaining with the APWU back in like the 90s. I wasn't there, so I don't really know all the reasoning. But I do know that in 1999, we wanted to get a higher, we wanted to be paid at a higher step than a clerk. And I think now it should probably be like 2 steps or 3 steps higher, because the dangers of the job out there in the street have gotten worse. We're on our feet longer. So if we're going to bargain together, like you guys in APW, you have a pay chart, and you say, okay, the clerk is on the level 6, mechanic is here, the tractor trailer operator is here. I can get with that, as long as 2 things. One, what step is the letter carrier going to be at, right, in relation to that pay chart? And 2, are we going to be able to bargain for our issues that affect letter carriers separately? Which I assume you could, because like in APW, when they negotiate, they have different crafts, and they have their whatever. The different crafts can still negotiate language that addresses issues in those crafts. So maybe there's a way to do it, but it would, there'd be a lot of stipulations to it, and it would have to be something that the members of the NELC would be willing to do. So I don't know.
Would
But
that be something that you'd be
you could still
interested
work
in?
together and collaborate in a lot of different ways, even if you don't exactly bargain together. But what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Jesse. Jesse had a question.
The clerks and the carrier crafts are really crisscrossing right now, because I don't know I'm sure you guys know, but clerks are losing jobs due to automation, due to
Yep.
the front office of the post office closing down, certain offices closing down. So to alleviate that, clerks might have to go into carrier positions or vice versa. So to mix our unions together, yeah, that might be the answer, you know.
I don't
Might-
think he meant mixing them together. I think it was like bargaining at the table together. I think it's
right.
you got your president here, you got this president here, you got the rural president here. Look, we sitting in front of you. I think I'm APW. This is NALC. We're not gonna be sitting here fighting against each other, but in order for this to work, we need that to work for them. In order that to work to them, we need this to work for us. I
Right.
think that's what he meant by it. I could be mistaken. I was waiting for another text message, but he is watching. I don't exactly know the terms, but I'm not the smartest guy. Never said it, never claimed it. But coalition bargaining, I don't see why that would be a negative, or at least to have the conversation. Did I lose everybody?
No,
I mean,
I gotta look more into that. That's it.
ah,
Carriers
you
do
like to
clerk
make people
work.
think.
How are we not getting paid as much as clerks? Carriers all the
Yep.
time, even road carriers doing clerk work, and carriers are doing it all. How are we not the highest paid craft? It's crazy to me.
Oh,
We could
Well,
do
said
anybody's
the
job.
well, I said for clarification, the clerks at level 7, level 8, are still not quite where step P is. There is certain circumstances where APW members that are training automotive specialists, electrical specialists, they're the ones at 45, 46 an hour. But most of the clerks actually are not. I mean, like I clarified something that was misspoken on the other day by the guy I was talking about earlier with his misinformation put out there constantly to say that, that you're saying that the clerks are paid higher than the carriers. They get 45, 46 an hour. I said, clerks, I got a clerk that works with me. He's been there 30 plus years. I said, he is a level 6 he's a level 6. And he told me what his hourly and what is, he pulled out a stub, and I said, okay, thank you for clarifying that, to say that that he has been there forever and he is not where a top step carrier is. And
But
then
what about the starting pay though? They start off
oh,
more, right?
yeah, no, yeah,
That's what I
okay.
meant.
That's no. To clarify, yeah, you're on the right track there, Nick. Definitely,
That's what I meant. Sorry
the
about
starting should definitely be on track. With the carrier
Yeah.
should be on track with the starting number. If you're in the mid 20s or 26, 27, seems to be the magic number put out there most of the time. Absolutely, that should be the carrier starting number, not 22 and change.
Yeah.
Mike, are
So
you
22
are
and
you
change is
frozen, Mike?
insult.
Are you frozen, Mike? I'm sorry. Mike look like he might be frozen.
you
Everybody
got
else.
it. You got it. I sent you a message.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But for anybody that knows, I have a pinned comment from Miami-Dade Transparency. He's the one that created the CREA app for carriers. So at the end of my regular videos, you'll see, the CREA app. Click on his name. He's pinned here somewhere. He just re-put out that wild video of exposing true. It usually gets pulled down because
Flagler.
it's a little raw.
Flagler Post Office.
Yeah, about the
I watched that
Flagler.
whole thing and that was crazy.
Doesn't that
Yeah,
make you cringe?
Wow.
oh
But that's
man,
going
it's
on in a lot
rough.
of post offices. That's going on in a lot of post offices. That's not a one-off.
Mike always seems to. Yeah, Mike sometimes loses power and then he repowers up and then he reappears. I think he might have had that situation.
He
Mike's
says,
old. Mike's old like me. He's still figuring out tech. Yeah.
He says it's real simple. Coalition bargaining is for better wages. There is leverage in numbers.
yeah, definitely.
Something about the entire labor workforce. I'm trying to read text messages and regular messages. Nonetheless, I respect
Bad
that.
Mel. Bad Mel.
Holy crap!
Oh, Mr.
Holy
Morris.
shit.
There he is.
Morris.
I'm
Now
still
look at
in
him.
uniform. Hold on,
Still
hold on.
got his, he still got his polo on.
He just got off of work, boy. That's a hard-working man.
I was just getting rowdy at the AFL-CIO meeting because they was talking about the money issues of the post office, and I had to, let folk know.
Interject.
Yeah.
in a bad mouth way.
Pardon me, Your Honor. I had no, got a little bit rowdy. Pushed the food drive.
Welcome back, Mike.
Yeah. Hi, guys.
That's
What's
Mike.
up,
Mike,
man?
you've spoken
What's
to
going on?
Badmouth before?
Oh yeah.
Folks, I
You
know
guys-
it's
you guys
10:20 in
report
the
truth.
Eastern time zone, but thank you everybody for sticking with us. Obviously, we were hoping Badmouth would get in here for a little bit of more time, and we're going to give him his time to speak on what he just came from. Thanks for coming in, brother.
Yeah,
Damn.
thanks for having me. Sorry, so if you're trying to organize, and here's a big problem with our union, and it's I mean everyone knows, everyone in the APW knows, everyone in the mail handlers, everyone in the rural craft knows that the NALC in particular is incredibly fucking siloed, right? We keep to our own. We don't mess with other people's stuff, right? And that's a crying shame. It's dog shit. All across this country, labor is under attack. Unions are under attack all across this country. We have one of the strongest, biggest unions in this country. And they try to say that 295,000 carriers, we're so active. Bullshit. We ain't active. We have the most dues paying members. We don't have the most active members, right? We in order for our fight, our union has, we got teeth, but we refuse to fucking use them, right? We refuse to use our teeth. We refuse to go to the mat. We like to talk about fights. We like to talk about old fights that we had, but we don't like to get in the fight. We're always the APW. I remember people talking about the APW, like back when in Vince Sobrato's day, right? The APW was like, the NALC was like, well, the APW, they're kind of weak, right? Well, it's the complete opposite now. And it's not because we don't got the strength. It's not that we don't got the war chest. We just don't go to fucking war like the APW does.
There you go.
Right? We got weak ass people in control of a big ass monster truck who don't know how to parallel park. Right?
Exactly.
So,
Weak leadership.
Exactly. And then you got people running for leadership. I like some of them. Some of them are fucking assholes, right? And the thing is that we have. If you want to organize and you want to get people to show up at actions, we got this thing, right, where the post office is saying crying broke, and they're trying to figure out a way to let the public know that it's not our fault, right? Our leadership, with all of that money, with all of their contacts in Washington, with all their contacts across the labor movement, they ain't doing shit. So I go to the CLC. The CLC in outside of the letter carrier context is the Central Labor Council, the AFL-CIO meetings, right? So I talk to government employees who are getting rat fucked by this administration right now. The furloughed employees that have to work and don't get paid, right? And tying our struggle into their struggle. And we're all in this shit together. That shouldn't be my homeless ass fucking doing that shit.
Yeah.
Why didn't I see any branch presidents at that meeting tonight? Why did I have to get up there and get fucking obnoxious? So I'm coming off that. I'm a little keyed up.
No, man, you're totally right.
This is what needs to be heard, man. This is what needs to be heard.
You're totally right.
You go ahead and enjoy that beer right there, brother. Before you came on, I put out my support for Mr. Cariff here, and stated that in light of things that you have shared with me, that I'm going to ask you to, give a little bit of more clarity on about what happened with your separation from the CLC, what made you step away. That's my first question. And second question is, what would you like to see from Mike here if he were to become president? So I did give clarification about your separation. I did Pardo Guzman and Michael Rivera, but if you could please clarify your exit from the CLC and why everybody just seemingly is turning a blind eye to a very vicious attack, a very unjust treatment of rank and file letter carrier, I think we'd all like to hear it, and it needs to be heard. So, floor is yours.
Yeah. So, man, it's fucking heartbreaking. right? Because we put all of this work and all of this faith into people who say they are there to fix the corruption, fix the problem, keep us from getting rat fucked, right?
Yes,
and as I have said before, and I will say again, the people on the CLC slate, I have a lot of respect for them individually. I have a lot of love for them individually. I think they have done great things for the letter carrier. But the way they operate as a slate is fucking horseshit.
Yes, sir.
And I can't handle it no more. Like fucking buddying up to open bigots. That pissed me off. But it wasn't enough for me to back away. I was like, hopefully this is a one-off and they'll turn this shit around. Nope. Michael Rivera got rat fucked by Guzman and his branch, right? And see, here's the thing, Chooch. If you and I are at a party, we're at a party, and I'm in the kitchen, and I'm being an asshole, bullying some poor fucking kid in the kitchen, and you're in the living room shooting the shit, hanging out. You and I got the same shirt on. We got the same hockey jersey, right? It's your responsibility to go in that kitchen when you hear about that shit, shut my ass down, have a word with me, and drag my ass out of the party if I'm being a fucking piece of shit, right?
Damn right.
That's your responsibility as my buddy, because we're wearing the same jersey. What I'm doing reflects poorly on you. You don't say, no. That's the kitchen's problem.
Nah.
Right? We gotta hold ourselves accountable. We expect management to rat fuck us. Why? And like the establishment that the CLC is running against, James Henry got some of his duties taken away, and that is honestly, no bullshit, that's garbage. I think that's garbage. But that is the most horrible thing in the world if you listen to any of that, right? But now they just rat fucked a rank and file member. They took his voice. Not only did they take his voice, but for 18 months, he's got to pay his dues.
He's got to pay his dues.
That's around about $65,000 a month for 18 months. So they are collecting money from this man while stealing his fucking voice. And here's the thing. James Henry likes to say, if you see wrong and you ignore it, that is as wrong as the wrong itself, correct?
He quoted Profiles in Courage by JFK in a recent video.
Yep. If your buddy's being a piece of shit somewhere, you put his ass in check.
Check him.
Especially if you're running on shit like this, right? Because here's the thing with power. More power never reforms an asshole. It amplifies an asshole, right?
Boom.
If they're rat fucking somebody before they even have power, when they have influence, what's in store for the rank and file when they're in charge?
Worse. It's gonna get worse.
Yep.
It's gonna build. It's gonna fester.
We've all seen Lord of the Rings, right? Like power doesn't improve someone's fucking situation; it makes it worse. Yeah, no, exactly. So here's the thing: if you are looking for power, if you are looking for position, and you can't stand on business, you're going to be standing on someone's neck before you realize it. Anyone who's looking for power, fucking be suspicious of them. And if they're already putting their foot on someone's neck before they even got that fucking power, what is in store once they get it? Power does not reform an asshole. No one gets better when
it amplifies it.
Yeah. Yep. Mike, badmouth. Fantastic. I mean, we really needed the in here. I'm glad that we waited. I'm glad we didn't sign off early. And Mike, we don't expect any sort of answer back about this. We wanted to make sure that you were not in the dark about things that have transpired with this gentleman here who is busting his hump, who has lived in a tent as a mail carrier for months.
I'm indoors now.
He's indoors now. Obviously, that's not a fake background. Hopefully, in the tent. This has been a very, very unreal experience of, like I said, coming into something so later in my career, and hearing these stories and meeting these guys and just saying, like, there is such a realism and like I said, I'm in my sector where things don't get too rocky for the most part. I like my local. I don't find too many injustices. I find everything moving along smoothly. With this gentleman here, it's a very eye-opening thing that obviously it's not an expose; it's reality. He had the situation, and I firmly believe that what he is conveying here is that I want a union that is fair and just and for the members. And what transpired with Mr. Guzman and Mr. Rivera, very against the grain of that ideal.
Yeah. And
Hey, Chew, so I want to say
Yeah.
something.
Go ahead, Mike,
oh,
please.
some fucking tariffs here. What's up,
Hey,
man?
Hey, I'm in
Mike.
the house.
Go ahead,
So-
Mike.
So to me, and well, most of us here are members of the NELC.
Yes,
Michael
sir.
Rivera is a hero in our union. And a lot of people don't know this, but when we got the tentative agreement and we voted it down, and then the president went and implemented the terms, even though we voted it down, Michael Rivera actually put together charges against the president, and he
That's-
laid it out in a really great way in showing that, hey, the Constitution requires ratification by the members if you're going to agree to something. And it looked like what the president did was agree to a settlement of terms
Mhm.
without taking it to the membership for our stamp of approval.
Right.
And he said that violated the Constitution. He laid it out really well, and he was the only one that did that, right?
That's right.
And he's not a union official. He's
Right.
not a whatever.
Rank and
He's
file
just
carrier.
rank and file carrier in branch 70. And the injustice that Badmouth is talking about is that today that man is not a member of the union
Mhm.
because of an action that branch 70 took. So normally we don't, I'm not going to stand in judgment of what a branch wants to do. Hey, I'm a member of branch 11 in Chicago. You're a member of your branch, Nixon 4016, whatever branch you're in, that's between the members of the branch. But when you take someone's membership away from
Yeah,
them, you take their voice away from them.
Exactly.
To me,
It's still
now all
pain.
of us have to start looking at that situation. And Rivera has put out the charges against him. He's been very transparent about the whole thing. And if you look at the charges, there's nothing in there that shows that he violated the terms of the Constitution
none
in any way.
whatsoever.
That's the basis for a charge. You're a member of the union. You have the right to free speech. You have the right to disagree. You have the right to run an election. You have a right to appeal the election if you don't like it. You have a right to post shit on Facebook. They're accusing him basically of participating in the union, and they're using his participation as a means to keep him out of the very union that we're all members of. And I don't want to be a part of a union that operates like that. So normally I would say branch 70, do whatever the hell you want. But to the extent that it affects this man's membership, now I got to come to his defense. So
Mike,
I donated money. And I don't know if you guys can you guys put the GoFundMe? I
Yes,
don't know
we
if
have
you
to
do
go for. Yeah,
GoFundMe.
we have to
Okay.
GoFundMe for Michael. Yes.
Man,
Badmouth was the
if you-
initiator of that.
if you give the guy $1, it's not the money, it's showing the man some love. It's when he's down. I talked to him, he called me that night, and I couldn't believe. I said, they suspended your membership for the union? Like,
That's
I've never
fucked
even
up.
heard of it. I've been around
Wow.
32 years. I've never heard of someone's membership being being kicked out of the union, not being a member of the union. But anyway, he was
Silence him.
he was he was melancholy, he was depressed, he was he really felt bad about what had happened. And so I applaud you, brother Badmouth Morris, for coming up with this GoFundMe thing. I think it's great that every carrier in the country showed a man a little love, and I think that would be great that hey, you're still our brother, Michael Rivera, you're still our brother,
There it
even
is.
if you're not officially in the union in branch 70 right now.
Yeah, we got your
We-
back.
We told him we got about 50 people down here in Texas that are all going to put his name on our guest registration at convention. The
Absolutely.
the thing is, and yeah, like if I mean, like, here's the thing. I wouldn't be so fucking hot and pissed about this shit if it doesn't run completely contrary to everyone on the CLC's fucking like proposed values, right? You expect an asshole to be an asshole, but if someone's coming in saying they're gonna change shit, and they might have every intention of changing shit, But if they're willing to step on someone to change shit, they're gonna. That's worse than a slippery slope. That's a
an
busted
ugly
ankle, you're
ugly
rolling down.
start. That's an ugly start to a movement.
Yep.
Plain and
And
simple.
see-
It's an ugly start to a movement.
Yeah, and I'll point out, like, my branch president hates my fucking guts, but that motherfucker isn't trying to get me out of the union. He
Yeah,
just
right.
ignores my emails and doesn't return my calls, and he just tries to ignore the piss out of me. And like,
that's
Guzman-
normal behavior. We understand that.
You know,
Yeah.
If you started to get some power, he probably would try though.
Yep, exactly. All Guzman had to do was say, that kid is fucking crazy, and ignore him, and fuck him later when you're in charge. Couldn't even do that. Arrogant hubris, fucking good old boys, mobster horse shit, right? We've all seen Goodfellas, motherfucker. You ain't special. Your mama thinks you're special. She ain't special neither.
I've seen
Right.
Goodfellas many times. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just mob bullshit. You couldn't have just let this slide. Like, how are they going to argue for a better contract? How are they going to operate politically to save the post office? How are they going to do any of that shit when they couldn't navigate this super easy fucking thing? I'm the oldest of 7. I got a bunch of little brothers. Some of them are piss heads. Some of them are fucking okay. Some of them are dope. But the dickheads, if like, you got to work with people.
Badmouth, you had me at supporting bigotry. Besides all of the supporting bigotry, I said, me and Mr. H here couldn't be further apart in our backgrounds and our beginnings, and yet I have such a respect for hearing what he has to say, day in and day out, and meeting Jesse here. Again, we're all different, but we all bear the blue.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say the term "I love light blue" because I hear that used in a certain setting of and I just say, hey, carriers, carriers out here doing the job, busting their butts. Wanting a better life, wanting to see everybody, in respect of the person next to you. I understand that not everybody's going to get along. It's not a big love festival, but this goes beyond and breaches every ideal and belief that should, bear itself, no matter how fucked up the world is right now. I said that what transpired and what you laid out, and obviously, people might hear it and say, well, tough titties, that is what it is. Welcome to the world, fella. I said, personally, that's not me. And that's never going to be me. I'm going to constantly call out and something goes down and then it's tried to be swept under the rug. So the rug has been pulled up under them. And I'm thankful that I met Badmouth and he came and that was all brought together by Mr. H there. This doesn't happen unless it all starts with the Brady. This looks like the Brady Bunch almost here. The very twisted male Brady Bunch. But and obviously we were looking to have a couple more people in here that would have had a lot more to say. But we can only move it along so much. But Badmouth, thank you, Mike, thank you, and Jay. Obviously, if you want to navigate any more questions. Back to you, brother.
I'm just sitting in the back. I'm
sitting back listening.
I'm listening. I mean,
I like the
there's
honesty,
so
bad
much.
mouth.
It's so much that you guys got going on. There's a lot of divisiveness, but I'm reading the comments. And so many people respect they respect you, Badmouth, and you, Chooch, Karif. I respect you, Nick. We grew with this together. And Jesse came
Although this is
in.
my first time meeting Nick. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, it's going on, Badmouth. I like the feistiness, spicy. I can't.
Look at the beards. Look at the beards, almost matching perfectly. Those
shit.
Are you Irish? Irish?
So Jesse reached out to me behind the scenes, was asking about you, Badmouth, and I think y'all got in touch with each other, and it's amazing that we can kind of agree to disagree in the comments. And don't get it twisted. I personally, this is Jay. I have not a carrier, but I chat with Corey. I don't have no issue with Corey. as you can tell, I chat with Karif as well. And Henry, like I said, he sends me messages. Y'all need to try to stop the divisiveness amongst yourselves. Come up with some type of solution instead of what Island is talking about here, typical bullying by forcing. There's no need to be a bully. Y'all all want the same thing. You just have different ideas on how to get there. There's nothing wrong with people thinking individually. Talk to him, Badmouth.
I'm going to bring up an example. I want to shout out Chris Clark, the steward at my station. So here's the thing. The fucking dirty ass politics in the NLC are fucking garbage. And I'm so sick and fucking tired of having someone say, oh, you're being divisive, when you point out that someone else is being a fucking asshole. Oh, I'm supposed to go along to get along because they're being a piece of shit. I'm the one causing the problem. They're the one being the piece of shit, motherfucker. Like, in any case. So, but like Chris Clark, love the man. Steward election comes up, right? I put my name on the sheet. Chris Clark puts his name on the sheet. Chris Clark puts his name on the sheet. And as soon as we realized we were running against each other, I was like, hey, Clark, you're running for steward? He said, yeah. I said, hey, if you win, will you make me an alternate? If I win, I'll make you an alternate. And we fist bumped and said, fuck yeah, let's clean this joint up. Beautiful. It wasn't this fucking horse shit where you need to like fucking pull out a fucking ceremonial dagger, slice your hand and make a blood oath that if you don't fucking want to fucking work with the person 110%, that like you're this betrayer bullshit. That's fuck that shit. There's too much of that. It's again, they've all been sitting on their ass, sniffing their own farts, watching Goodfellas on TBS over and over again, while the rest of us are carrying fucking mail. They've watched too many mobster movies. They think if you don't agree with them 110%, you're fucking Fredo in fucking Godfather. No, motherfucker, I got a different idea. May the better man win. Fucking put your big boy pants on, Jesus.
That is very, very clear and concise of a statement. I very much enjoyed hearing it in the manner you told it. I love the mob references, of course. Love the mob references. You know, I said I had my chance to get in the mob back in Philly, but I chose the post office instead. It just felt more natural, you know. Nick is working on his mob membership now. He's he's going to do it through food though, you know. But I really
at a time.
Nick's always out there, but I can only imagine to say that story is going to be told so many times repeatedly if something isn't done from the top down, to say that there is going to be this the battle of the two people trying to get that union spot, the blackballing of man Derek, who didn't make it on here tonight for whatever reason, but we want to see him back in here talking a little bit. He had a great following, and he experienced what Badmouth is talking about, blackballing and kind of union people standing shoulder to shoulder with management in the facility in front of everybody and saying his name in a negative light. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Christ.
What are you doing?
We can have disagreements and still be cordial. I mean, let's act like dogs.
Cordial is a big word. Mike knows that the cordial is very much part of the deal. And Badmouth obviously is might be a little anti-cordial, but at the same time, I mean, this energy is what's missing, and this power of the voice and power of knowledge, and you realizing that you are not just, a guy putting $35 out a month. You have a voice, and you might have to push a little hard to get that voice out there. I'm sorry, it's $35 a month. I said 35 every other week. But yeah, I stray from my point. You have to stay
Weekly.
You have to stay in the game, and you can't just become complacent. You got to go to your meetings, and you got to make your face be known. And I know people can't stand that. I know that maybe a Zoom option ain't offered to say at least I can do it after I work my 60-hour week. But I'm looking forward to seeing where we're at when this year rolls, when the end of this year comes, and God willing, the right man is picked for the job. So once again,
Jesse
praying for it.
What you
Yeah,
what you got to
what's
say
up?
to what you got to say to Mr. Cariff? You sound like you look like you got some
I
stuff you jotting down.
what Badmouth was just saying is, when you threaten the status quo, they come down on you. And somebody lost their membership because somebody went against the status quo, and status quo means there's corruption. Now,
Mm.
I don't know um how deep it goes, but my question is the mic is like, if you get in there, what are some hard policies you will fight for to root out corruption in the union? Because there is.
Oh,
Badmouth just said there is openly corruption.
shit.
Well, I think we're going to follow the Constitution would be the first thing, and I think that the national union needs to have oversight over what's going on within the branches. That doesn't mean that you tell the branches what to do. It means you have oversight, meaning that you're making sure that they're following the Constitution. You're making sure that every member is being allowed their voice, that the rights of every member is being respected, that if you're having an election, that the members are aware of the election, that you put out a proper notice for nomination of officers, and all of the things that are outlined in the Constitution. We should be enforcing those things in the same way that we enforce the contract, with the Postal Service. We should be enforcing that within the union so that every member knows that they have an equal say, that they can go to their local meetings, they can put forth a motion, majority wins, that kind of thing. I think that's the main thing
So
we can do is enforce the terms of the Constitution.
so I don't think a lot of carriers know about the Constitution or how this stuff operates.
They don't.
I think new hires of all their training should be a month and a half to 2 months, and they should have to read the Constitution. They should know the ins and outs of the union. They should know how to run for shop steward if they want to run. Okay, they come into the post office completely blind about that. Okay, because the training sucks, and that is also, I think that's done on purpose. Because
Well,
if
I
these
don't know.
people
I
knew
mean,
that,
I can only speak. I don't know what they do in other parts of the country, but we put out pretty extensive training on day one. We go to the carrier academies and the orientation, and we give them information on where their union meetings are at, who their president is, how they can contact, how can they can participate in the union, when the elections are. We give them information about going to their meetings so that they can have a voice there. That all of the expenditures of the branch is voted on by the members of that branch, that 2/3 of your dues money goes to the local branch, 1/3 goes to the national. We tell them all of that stuff. We give them a copy of the Constitution in their welcome
so
packet. I don't know. I mean, we
so
could
here
probably do more, but we do
so
all that.
Mike, here's what should happen when a new hire is past their orientation, right? Their background check's all good. They're good to go. The carrier academy, male, should be 3 weeks. Driver's training should be 2 weeks. Union training should be 2 weeks. They should know that Constitution back and forth. They should know their rights back and forth. The training needs to be longer. You guys need to instill that into them. Not only give them the Constitution, but test them on it. Test them on how I run for shop steward. Test them on their knowledge of union policies. Not just give them something, because they're not going to read it. They're going to throw it in their backpack and forget about it.
You know what? You know what? And I'm gonna piggyback off of that because I know what you said initially, Mike, and here's where I'm gonna push back a little bit. So I know what union he's in, and I know who his president is, and at the end of the day, there's gatekeepers there, and they just walk in, they drop the paperwork down. Right after, I think it's on orientation, they go in there, they talk to him for a couple hours, then they send him on their way. So the area that he's in covers a lot of carriers. You've been to a union meeting, I'm sure, Jess, and I mean, y'all got 4, 5, 600 members, give or take, because y'all
Mhm.
cover a big area. And how many do you see actually show up? Because they don't
Oh,
know any better. There's
yeah,
nobody to say, hey, you need this, you need that.
right.
It's the leadership down there is more like, hey, what I say goes, and also they have their favoritism. So I like the way you said, if you're on a national level, give you more power for oversight on the local levels. But what he was saying is, how does that stuff get enforced? Because there's so many people in the comments that feel left out.
Bad mouth,
There's
jump in there. Jump in
Bad
there.
mouth that's left
Yeah.
out. There's
So-
so many
I
people.
see the finger up.
Oh yeah, I just want like Jay's making a good point, and like and like Jesse, brother Harris, like I think where some of that communication breakdown is, if we all read the OIG report of all that grievance money, most of that shit came out of Carif's region. I don't think I don't think, and I don't care if you're not going to take credit for that shit, but your people did that shit, and they did that shit because they had your support, right? But like,
we collaborate, brother. We collaborate.
the union in Chicago, which is historically a union powerhouse, Mike, that's not the same fucking thing in right to work states. That's not the same fucking thing where Jesse and fucking Jay are in Florida. I'm in Texas. I get death threats every now and then for being a union organizer down here.
That's
right.
Wow. Wow.
Like,
No
like-
habla
like-
español.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Pinche Blanco Loca fuckers. Fuck those pieces of shit. Like, just a bunch of fucking assholes, right? We're playing on hard mode down here. And like, where Jesse and Jay are, we're playing on fucking hard mode, man. Like, and that's a weak point in our union when it comes down the disconnect between national and the NBA's office and the branch is a big disconnect. In some places, it's just like the new employee retention program. You got places like Boston where they take it serious and it's super successful. You got places like where I'm at, and it ain't shit because the branch doesn't give a fuck. No one knows who their mentor is. The
Yeah.
mentor doesn't even know.
Geography plays a big role in this. Geography plays a huge role in this.
I just want to say, I want to like echo what Brother Harris is saying, what Jesse's saying, because that's the thing. There was no union presence when I was at Cadet. I had to search them out. No union presence, right? And what's the old fucking, I know I'm a dirty ass leftist, but what's the old fucking adage? The oppressor is never going to educate you on how to overthrow the oppressor, something like that.
Yes.
In any case, these crooked ass branch presidents are never going to tell you about Robert's rules. They're going to bring out Robert's rules when they want to rat fuck you and then ignore them every other time, right? So what I want to echo what Jesse's saying, and like it's like, Mike, you do really good in your region, but just know that your region is a powerhouse region.
Yeah.
It's not the same in right to work states where most people, even in the union, have a low opinion of the union, because like the union has to be more than a fucking insurance policy. And it is more than an insurance policy in places like Chicago and Boston. But in the South, we are playing on hard mode and we need a lot more support. I think, is that kind of what you were getting at, Jesse?
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, what Badmouth is saying, we're playing on hard mode down here. I mean, I don't know how to do this.
I'm sorry. I just want to point out that Jay is in Nicaragua. I don't know what that whole Florida thing was. I don't know why people think that he's anywhere near the.
Yeah, exactly.
Just saying. But
Mike has
sorry to
been.
interrupt.
Mike visited Miami. You already know that's a whole different ball game, and I'm not gonna force you into talking about that. But
they need to send an
shit is
army.
rough. Shit is rough.
It's rough down there. Yeah.
But in closing, Mike, I know you got life, and I appreciate you jumping in, man. I'm not gonna hold you any longer. Do you want to close and talk to your fellow brothers before we step out of here?
Floor is yours, Mike.
Look, I think we didn't mention it, but every time I come on, I try to refer people to the careforpres.org website, just because there's all type of information there. I won't go into the details, but you can kind of click around and see shit there. Please check out the platform. There's a lot in there, and maybe you don't agree with it all. Give me some feedback. You know, there's ways to give feedback on the website or through the careforprez@gmail, or if you got my phone number or whatever. And let me know what you like, what you don't like. You can read it, you can listen to it, you can watch it on YouTube. We're trying to make this information accessible to everybody. And lastly, give Brother Rivera a couple dollars. The man is a hero in this union. We need to support him in his, in his low times, because he has always been there for all of us. Like I said, when we were going through the contract thing, and he stood up to the president like nobody else did. And so now is the time for us to stand up for him. And even if it's not a lot of money, just putting your name on it and showing love is important, to me at least. So I thank you. And thanks for having me on once again. And Jay, I see maybe you never heard from Badmouth before, but he's very entertaining, man. He's very entertaining.
That is not face value. That is the real deal right there, my man. And God, thank you, Mike. As always, appreciate you coming in. Appreciate you, letting us hit you with the questions. Sometimes they might not be the questions that anybody would want to hear, but you answer them to the best of your ability. And I can't thank you, and I can't thank these guys enough. Mr. H, as always, thank you. And, we're going right back to it tomorrow. I'm going to put together a little roundtable discussion. Mike, I would hope, I'm going to say win or lose. Obviously, our connection is there, and, we will talk into the future. We might do it like a Mike Drop Monday thing, set up something where we can speak to you. But if you're a busy man, as our president, which we're going to put our cross our fingers and put together whatever we can to help you out with that. It doesn't have to be everybody in here. I know everybody might still be on the fence about things, but obviously, I'm glad we had this conversation, and I'm glad that I'm able to lend my support as a 20-year carrier. Once again, I'm not brand new. I've been around for a while. I've seen some shit. I've heard so many stories, and I love the post office. I love the letter carrier craft, and I said, Chooch is always open to be here to talk to people. So, God bless. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you guys.
Nick,
Thank you for your service, Karif. You helped me with my letter of warning, and we appreciate your work out here in Illinois, my branch, and I talk to your people too. We all support you out here. We appreciate your service.
Nick didn't know he could eat a deep dish pizza with one hand and deliver mail with the other hand. They
call it a talent that only I possess.
They call it a safety issue. I said it's just Nick eating food.
So, somebody in the comments said they'd love to see Mr. Badmouth on a ticket with Mr. KREF. I don't even know what that means.
That'd be pretty
That's
cool.
what they said. That's not me saying it.
Dude, if you think I got the temperament for office, you're more unhinged than I am.
We need more people like that.
I think that's what they need there.
But they see
you
you
come
want
to the
that now.
arbitration table. Shit.
I will
read the arbitration table. Fucking eat a bag of dicks. Respectfully, we're not taking that offer.
Oh man, hook, line, and sinker, as they say, man.
Oh man, hey man, I appreciate y'all.
I can code switch. I can tie a full Windsor knot, but it's mainly because I grew up going to Catholic school and
guilty as charged.
Going to court dates. But I have no qualifications aside from just being mouthy. I'm a carny barker. I'm not a politician.
But you know what?
It's a good thing.
Sometimes it's the feedback. And the one thing I appreciate about everybody here, everybody from different areas, everybody in the comments, some people disagree to agree or agree to disagree. And I like that. I appreciate the fact you ain't ducked none of my questions. You didn't duck any of their questions. If you don't know, you don't know. That's it. And I that's all we want. I think I can speak for any postal worker. They want transparency. That's fact. They want transparency. You know, if you don't know, you don't know. And I appreciate you coming on, and you know, you didn't know Jesse. Jesse had his words, and Jesse, you answered his questions. Bad Mouth said his piece. You answered his questions. Mike, you know, did he he does his thing, and and who's the other guy? Nicholas. Yeah, Nicholas shared some pizza with you. So you know, I guess I don't know.
Everybody did great. Like this, you know, this ain't performance art here. This is this is as real as it gets on the ground.
Real
You know,
shit.
Dentos and you know, it all has to be brought together. You know, in a very very specific thing. We're all working different hours. We're all in different time zones, and you know,
Dealing with
this
the
is
same bullshit though.
to let yeah, and we all dealing
Yeah,
with
same bullshit.
some way, somehow, some way, we all seem to have a story that matches the other guy's story. So. Is it, on that note, as we strike the 11 p.m. mark, Mr. H, you want to sign us off for the night?
Hey, I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. I
Hit
just
the
wish
like
my
button.
my postal union, they just be selling me. I'm gonna have to get one or two of my people come on. I guess we don't got no problems on the
Yeah, oh,
APWU
yes,
side,
yeah.
right?
You won't do it.
Yeah,
You
it's
won't
so
do it, Jay.
strange
You
how
won't do it.
it's all carrier bullshit. What is it with the carriers that make it so intriguing? Oh, because we run the show. That's why,
It's
motherfuckers.
because y'all are
Face
fickle.
off.
You're fickle.
And yes, and fickle. Yes,
I want to see a
Yeah.
supervisor come on here.
No,
We
there
we've
was
had
some.
we've had
Mr.
Postmaster on here.
Oh,
Yeah, we had
okay. All right.
one of
I
the
think Karis
very
was on one
exception.
day when we had a Postmaster on. Yeah.
Very exception to the
Okay.
rule, Postmaster. Very exception to the rule. He, you know, so a couple things there was a little combativeness, but at the same time, there was a line of respect that I rarely hear from. And you know, I said Jay knows him obviously a little bit too, so he ain't gonna put anybody on here that ain't ready for a little fire.
Yeah, they're too busy going to Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh shit.
And Chipotle. And
All right.
Chipotle.
We
All
4
right.
hours past
Yeah.
my bedtime. Old man gotta get some sleep.
You gotta get up.
And Postal family, I appreciate y'all. Go check out and make sure you subscribe to all of them, from Nick to reach out to Badmouth. He's showing that beautiful beard of his from the side view. Carriersforprez.org. This one said carriers are divas, I guess.
No, yeah.
Great.
Wow.
Mr. Chooch is going to be holding a couple of round tables, and that's all I got to say about that. Postal family, we holler at y'all later. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Stay
Thank
safe,
you.
guys.
See you,
America
Mike.
forever.
Thank you, Mike.
That was good. That was real
Man,
good. That was a long one.
stellar.